Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well so far. It has our last week I was on vacation in Florida, so it was a minute since I was live. So I just want to first of all thank you guys for um, bearing with me, and because I'm still kind of getting the hang of this whole entire YouTube thing, and so many of you guys. Um, been suffering through my uniqueness here. So thank you for your grace and graciousness. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and jump right in just to make sure that you guys can hear me real quick. Yep, you guys can. Just want to make sure. So, all right, let's go ahead here. So we have a pretty interesting week so far for the news. We have, and I'm going to bring this up here just real quick, just the major news points here in America that will probably move the markets. And I just want to bring this up here. And I get my information actually from the economic calendar from investing.com. And I'm basically what I'm looking for is the okay. Um, sorry about that. I'm going through and I'm looking for the 3 stars. So you can go through, and there are a number of economic calendars you can go to find out where and what is happening in the future of the traditional markets. Like I've been saying, that the traditional markets have been kind of moving. It's a little bit different this week, right? Because of S&P 500. But we're going to go into that stuff. But this is where I go to get my stuff for the week. It's real simple. Just it's investing.com/economic tag calendar / You can see that right here. Or you just come up to investing.com. You'll hit one of the things here. I think it's like, I don't know if it's the news. Go through here. You guys will see it, be able to find out where things are at and kind of go from there. But you can see here that it gives you all the triple stars, and I can go to all the ones that I want to check out. I can bring up any of the world news that I want to be able to check out, and then kind of go from there. And you can see here that Mexico has a holiday on Friday. So, Viva la Mexico. Anyways, for many of my friends out there, they know that my family is from Mexico. Traditionally, that would be on my father's side, and they're doing some good stuff out there. So, got to be careful. Just go to Mexico. You know, anybody who knows Mexico understands what I just said. So, anyways, yeah, but they're from Mexico, which is really cool. And I'm first generation American with them. I got a lot of my cousins that are as well, and we had a few of them that have, went to college and got their college education, done a lot of good things, right? So it's pretty cool. Anyway, let's jump right into this. I just want to show you guys here real quick. So we have a few things here for the week. We have CPI for Tuesday. It is going to be it should be 8:30. I don't know why that did not go through sometimes. 8:30. This is for Wednesday. We have the PPI, which is going to be at 8:30. Be mindful of that. And then we also at 10:30 we have the crude oil, and this is weekly. Typically, they do 10:30 reports that go through and just notify us, or just notify. So sometimes this will move the traditional markets based off of, let's say, if it's like a lot of supply that OPEC is saying they're going to release, or a few other things that are coming out, right? How much supply that they have or lack thereof, right, can produce the markets to go up or down. And I'm saying traditional markets, which then affect crypto markets. So that's why it's important to understand how things work here within crypto. Then we have on Thursday, we have the core retail sales. Basically, what this does is just basically retail sales. What's going on in retail sales? If we've had a ton of seller or a ton of buyers, or it's funny, I'm always thinking trading. We have a lot of buyers kind of going on, right, within the markets, and hence basically people buying. People are going out there and buying a lot of goods and services. So, or just goods, retail in particular. So then you also have the initial jobless claims, which is going to be on Thursday at 8:30. Also, so you have both here. And then you also have the manufacturing index, the Philadelphia. It's basically just kind of going over manufacturing. So these are all at the same time, and as well as retail sales. So be mindful of this, and make sure that you guys are paying attention to this here real quick. Let's go into this, and I just want to make sure that I over that correctly, because sometimes, and that was Thursday, so let me make sure that I have that connected correctly here. So that'd be 5, yeah, it'd be 8 o'clock, initial 5, yeah, 8 o'clock. So 8:30 for these guys. So just want to give, and sometimes when I have my computer set to a different time period, so my charts are set up a correct way, so I can see correct levels within the market. So anyways, that's for another day and another time. So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump right into the markets. Now, I want to bring up as well, we've had some pretty interesting news here. So yesterday, and this was really interesting over the past week. So as we know that the drop of 1930s, in the 1970s, even in the late 2000s, or not, late 2008, as well as 2001 and into 2002, when we had major massive sell-offs in the market, people would kill themselves. So it was really interesting news-wise. And this is just a quick roundup of the week. And where I'm getting this is actually CoinDesk podcasts, which I really like a lot. Just have you guys check them out. It's really good. You can check them out. Any of your local podcasts of your whatever devices you use, check it out. But I like them. CoinDesk podcast. Here's the other thing I want to bring up. If any of you guys listen to a lot of these news stuff, I'd love for you guys to comment in our section here saying, hey, did you check this out? Check that out. And it's, I'm only one man and I'm only checking out certain things, but I want you guys also bring it, because I want more of a communal aspect, right? I like how some of these podcasts, people can actually email and talk, and communicate with the podcaster. So I want to give you guys heads up, just like, hey, email me. You can always contact me in Moonrock. That's because I'm a dev there on Telegram, and I always post the Telegram there, link to be able to reach us within Moonrock. But then in the same time, you can always reach out to me, and I can read your guys' comments or statements. So I always want to let you guys know I always want to let you guys know that you can. Pardon me here real quick. Paste and forgive me. There we are. That makes things better. More better. More butter, more better. I'm dating myself there. If any of you guys know what that is, it's from a cooking show that was done a while back. And that stinks. Let me go ahead real quick and go to sorry about the noise, guys. It's really nice here where I'm at, and I like the window open and being able to breathe the fresh air. It's always nice to be able to do that. So that's where I'm at. Here, one second. I'm actually going on LinkedIn here, so I want to post what I'm doing here, and I do not know why that is not going. I think I lost my connection. Let me jump here real quick. And forgive me, guys. It has been really unique. There we go. And let's see if we can get this up and running again. Let's go ahead and I'm not live streaming on LinkedIn. Oh, there you are. There I am. All righty. There we are. Okay. There it is. There it is. Let me go ahead and type in here real quick. Official Moonrock. So guys, those who are on LinkedIn, you guys can find me there. Just go there, subscribe to our channel, and then from there you can reach me. I'm Pedro Moonrock, and you'll be able to communicate with me through there by asking me questions or things of that nature. But let's go ahead and move right in here real quick. And nice. Alrighty. So it's really interesting news-wise since this past week since I haven't been here. One, just simply that the markets have been dropping down, or actually moving up, excuse me. But yet the S&P 500 has been moving down. So it's been really, really kind of interesting. Or S&P 500 has been moving up. And we're hitting some major resistance here. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. We have that 8-period moving average happening on the S&P 500. So it's going to be interesting to see if we hit this and we have a sell-off. Now, you can see here that as of last month, we did hit this. We sold off. Like I said to you guys last week, the week prior, on the 1st, as we were selling off. So typically what that means is that if we sell off in the beginning, then we typically are going to push up higher. So we see that here already happening. So it's actually pretty nice to sit there and see that. But that doesn't mean that we're going to continue, right? Now that we're at these resistant level or supply zones, resistance levels, these are the dynamic moving supply zones, which is the S&P, or which is the moving averages. So we're hitting a junctional point where we very much could turn around right here. And so we saw this over the month, the last week and a half, right here. If we can sit there and see this, where the market has moved up, but we're hitting, like I said, some supply wicks, as well as, let me point this in here real quick. Supply, let me make that a monthly zone here. So this is a monthly zone that we're sitting here. And on top of that, we also have an SMA sitting in this level, guys, on that monthly chart. So I don't see us just simply perusing through this zone. Like I said, we always could, but I really doubt it. I really doubt it to see if we're going to. So on top of that, we also have, so we have that weekly 8, right? It's a first test into after the sell-off, right? So we had the sell-off, and then actually not first test, second test, forgive me. But it's like the first real kind of after the sell-off of last month, we're coming back and we're testing this. So let's see if this holds. I don't think it's gonna just hit it and then, and push through it. It could, but I really doubt it. On top of that, we have multiple moving averages sitting in this area. We have the 20-period moving average on the 20, on the monthly, and then we also have that 8 moving average. And we saw that there was a sell-off. Now, the other part I want to bring up, as well as we did see more volume on last month when it comes to, even though I didn't have a sell-off. So it's going to be really interesting to see, were they putting in their shorts, right, to then push it up to get more, because like I tell you guys, you need buyers and sellers always, right? So many times institutions will flip it on you guys. So it's very important to understand that when they go through and they're pushing it up, you want to look at the larger time frame on the monthly, the weekly, to gauge which direction they're really going to be pushing it to, right? So as I'm looking at right here, I'm seeing here that we're hitting a junctional point. We have supply zones sitting in this area right here. In addition to that, we have moving averages. And when I'm looking at, let's say, the volume, right? The volume did not reach. If we look at the volume here, right, for the last few weeks, we can see here on the S&P 500 that we have an increase in volume setting up. right? Then last week, we didn't really put, I mean, we put a decent amount of volume, but I was expecting a much higher set of volume when it came and I looked at it, right? But it's not that much. So in addition to that, you can definitely see that institutions were not trying to push the market up, as in they're bullish on the market, but what they are is they are more or less trying to bring in the lemmings, or the people who think they're going to have continued move up, right? And so they're the ones buying. And when we look at the daily, I'm going to show you guys some stuff on the daily that's going to kind of confirm what I'm talking about here. But we can see here that the market is moving up, but with a lack of conviction in volume. In addition to that, you'll see that the institutions are basically trying to bring, it's a short-term rally, as in to bring in buyers so that the institutions can come in and take the other side. We can see this kind of in the daily chart as well. So you can sit here and see here that as we're moving, you can see that the volume is dropping off, right, of the push-up that we had last week, right? And additionally to that, I'm not seeing major conviction in relationship to here, right? So I would hope that I would have seen it drop further down, come back and test these buyers, and then push up. So we'll see what happens. But just to me, I think it's a short-term play and push up to bring it back down to the next leg. So it's a unique thing to look at, something to be paying attention to. We do have support here though. So we have support on the daily right here. On top of that, we hit this weekly zone right here, guys, right? As we can sit there and see, we bounced off of it, right? We're coming up into supply areas. Like I've said, we have our weekly 200-period moving average right here, in addition to the monthly moving average, which is the 8, sitting right in this area, right? And additionally to that, we have the 89. And these aren't small little moving averages. These are real. These are institutional buyers and sellers stepping in, right? I have another friend of mine, Brian. He's a technical analyst as well, guy, and he personally thinks that Bitcoin is going to be coming up to the 30,000, maybe even 40,000, which I don't feel that, but we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, got a little coffee there. I was used to getting up around 8 o'clock when I went on vacation, like actually more like 7 o'clock. I typically get up around 6, 5:30, to kind of go over the markets and check out everything that's going on. So it's really interesting, like coming back from vacation, how I'm like, ugh. So I have a little coffee there. I normally don't drink coffee. I normally have my special tea that I drink, but I wanted just a little bit kind of push for myself. I know people don't. I like cold coffee, which is really weird. I know that's weird. I like cold coffee that is maybe iced with some monk fruit. I don't know if any of you guys are into monk fruit, but it is a great sweetener, and it doesn't. If you're into ketosis, or if you're into keto diet, or if you're into intermittent fasting, you can go through and obviously you need to be smart. You can't take the whole 3 or 4 gallons or spoonfuls of the sugar, but by going through and using it, I just add some sweetness to it and kind of gets me up. Also has some great antioxidants within it that really helps the body move and groove, killing off all those free radicals. Anyways, I apologize. I'm kind of going on left field, but let's jump back into the chart here. So the S&P 500, we're looking at that weekly. You can see here on that weekly chart, we're also kind of tapping this 8 moving average. Now, yes, the moving average is moving up. We do not see it rounded off, but we are at that 200-period moving average. So we'll see what happens. This is not necessarily engaging, because actually we can see right here that it's not necessarily, it's cutting through candles, but are they coming up retesting this and going to engage right here or right in here? We'll see. But for me, as I'm showing here on that daily, guys, we aren't showing a lot of conviction here, right, when it comes to the volume. So we'll see what happens here over this week. We did push up in the first part of the week, so there's the indication of myself that I think we're going to turn around. If not, tomorrow or maybe even Wednesday, we see the sell-off. So we'll see what happens. At least the sell-off down into this area of the 3,900 mark, 3,950 area, to come back and retest this demand zone that we had on the weekly. Let's go ahead now and jump right into the world system here. So it's interesting how the world's market was really pushing up here on the, and this is the world's index. This is everything kind of brought in together. And I actually do not know how exactly it works, but it does show us kind of like what's going on with the world's economy, kind of all brought together. Let's go ahead. That was not the one. I just looked at that just because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Boom. Anyways, let's jump into the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is pushing up. Let's go ahead and check out a couple areas here real quick. We have that. With that monthly. So this monthly and weekly on that NASDAQ, it's very similar to the S&P 500, guys, right? You can see this. All right. We hit our junction point here where it is definitely holding. And let's check out the 200-period moving average. You guys can see here that we still have that 200-period moving average sitting in this demand zone. That's or that weekly 50-period moving average on the monthly. And then let's check out that weekly. So you can see here we're sitting in this area. So it's going to be really interesting to see, again, like not a lot of conviction moving up, right? Even less volume than the previous 3 weeks where you had like the minimal volume. So it's going to be really interesting to see if the NASDAQ continues. I really highly doubt it just based off the conviction of the volume and it coming in with a lack thereof of like wicks and communicating that it wants to continue up. So we'll see what happens on a deeper level, but I don't see this continuing up, guys, unfortunately. And let's go ahead. Like I said, unfortunately, because personally, this is why I'm in crypto, right? Because I don't think that the world's in a good spot, right? And so, but I pray that I'm wrong. And like I've hedged myself to be in both markets, right? To make sure that I am, in traditional markets as well as I am into. Oh, Josh, are you there, Josh? Oh, what's up, Josh? How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. It is good to see you. Let's go ahead real quick and tap this in real quick. All right, so we have the moving average sitting right here. We have that monthly. In addition to that, we have that weekly, 89. I first heard about the 89 moving average through, what was the guy's name? He was a teacher at Online Trading Academy. Many of the old timing traders remember old time. I actually go back as far as what's it called? Invest Tools. I actually went and worked for Invest Tools in hopes to really learn kind of how to trade and things like that back in when they were in Draper before they got bought out by TD Ameritrade. Yeah, that was nuts. This was back in the day when I was anti big establishment. I was for the small trader. Oh, you don't know. You have this thought process, right? And you don't realize that it's false. You don't realize it until after the fact. Boom. So let's go ahead and check real quick on that. Yeah. Move that to the weekly here. There we are. So there's that weekly chart here. So come on. And it's similar to the S&P 500 here, right? So we're hitting these areas here that potentially could be turnaround positions, right? Let's go ahead. And this blew through our daily zone right here. And it came down and touched this lower zone, which it did set up for it to go through. So it is not looking pretty for the bulls here. It is definitely looking. So it did cut right through our area here, guys. It saw back, it cut through, it came back, retested, and then sold off. So that means that I was wrong. Oh my goodness. The guru was wrong. Hey guys, it's trading, man. It's not about whether you're right or wrong. It's the market is always right, no matter what. And so, I don't know if you guys have been watching the Lord of the Rings on Prime. They've done like a pre-trilogy. I think that's what they call it. But it's not a trilogy. It's a show based off of like before Sauron and Lord of the Rings, before all that happened. Um, and The Hobbit, there was like all this other history. If you read any of not J.R. Tolkien, yeah, J.R. Tolkien. And I don't know why I was thinking J.R. Rowling. Maybe I mixed that all up. Oh, dear Jesus, forgive me. Anyways, so the reason why I'm saying this is because there's a portion of the last episode where they say the sea is always right. And it's remind me of the market. The market is always right, right? And so that's where you need to make sure that you're paying attention to. Now to bring up NASDAQ here real quick, you guys can see here that this is coming through. It is actually, I have no confidence in this area now, simply because it came in established orders, right? We have definitely more sellers stepping in, pushing down versus buyers' convictions pushing it up. So how far are they going to push this up? I don't know. We'll see. We've got, like I said, we have our earnings coming up. So are they pushing it because they know something that we don't know? Probably. So be paying attention to these weeks reports as well as earnings, and I'll probably should get an earnings report, and I'll start posting it in the chat here. Just give everybody a heads up of earnings coming out to be paying attention, because let's say if like Walmart it comes out, or Bank of America comes out, right, and they have negative earnings reports, it's going to move the market. Or Apple has negative reports, right? A negative report, or excuse me, negative earnings in conjunction with a report, you're definitely going to see a volatile market sell off, right? So these things are important, at least to pay attention to. You don't need to know all the details, but just to be able to sit there and go, okay, their earnings are coming out, pay attention, right? So those little things I look at. Now you can see here, guys, that these markets are definitely at just look, you can see like it's just there's no conviction, right? So on Friday there was no conviction, even though we had a huge buyers, and then today it's not too strong, right? So these are really important things to pay attention to. Give me 1 second. This Friday morning I will be fine. Might be decent. Yeah, it's a good, yeah, like I'm gonna point that out actually in the charts here. When is the So we could talk about that tomorrow as well, because I know a little bit about that, but I don't know a lot about that, Josh. So we'll check that out. But in additionally to that, I think give me 1 second. Here we go. Embarrassment. All right. You can sit here and see here that we don't have a lot of volume coming in the last few days. So, and this is important to sit there and look at. Now, I know Friday was 9/11, or it's set up for 9/11, but I would I would love at least today seeing, um, more volume, at least to really push us up. So we'll find out as the day progresses where that volume comes in. But again, I'm not like even on Thursday and Wednesday. Look, we had a sell off, which a ton of volume with a ton of volume, and then a push up with nothing. So, and I know you guys are gonna like get to the crypto, but the crypto follows this. Crypto follows this, so this is important to pay attention to. Let's go ahead now and go into BTC here. One last little bit. Forgive me for this. You can see here that we also have these moving average sitting here, and then if you come here, look at the daily up in this area, we do have a pretty decent moving supply. So this is kind of like that line in the sand, to be paying attention to. If this does move through here, all right, and we see this actually really push through, then that's a good thing. And let me jump into here real quick. Yeah, pay attention to this, guys. This area here. This is definitely definitely an area to pay attention to. Definitely. For you old timers out there, good old Raymond. All right, let's jump right into here real quick. Also, want to bring this up. We'll go into the dollar here in a second. You guys look at gold here. We had a pretty good sell-off here within gold, but it's like this is kind of like what I'm looking at. Gold is coming up into an area here where it might be finding some type of support. We have higher lows, right? And it's consolidating, as you can see. So there might be something that's looking like this where we're going to go up and sell off, or it very much could be that it's finding support right in this area, and now we're putting in. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with gold. Um, I don't know if gold is going to continue to sell off, but to hold out right here that we're at that 100, excuse me, the 200 period moving average on the weekly. And so typically this is a pretty strong support, a really strong support. You can see here that we've been consolidating here for a while now, since 20 August of 20. So you can see here that this area here is, I feel like it's primed to push up with gold, which would then push down S&P, which continue with the, we could see another push up with the dollar. So here's the dollar here real quick. Like I said to you guys, we are definitely super strong on the dollar. This isn't necessarily good. We are hitting that 8-period moving average and bouncing off of it. Previous supply becomes current demand. So you can see here that our area here is hitting that 8 moving average and moving up. So are we going to continue? Probably will continue here on the dollar, simply because nothing's really changed from a fundamental standpoint, right? We're still moving up, and there's a lot of stuff going on here. And I'm not going to pretend like I know it all, but I do know that we could very much continue up, and then because it's going down for the day or for the week, for the first part of the week. So to me, I'm bullish on this. We could see this come back, tap the 50 or the 89 or 100 right here, because we do have some demand zones sitting in this area. So, and then rally back up. We've seen it do that now a few times. Boom, come down, rally even higher. So be ready maybe for a bit of a sell-off when it comes to the dollar, and then a turnaround and push back up around the levels of 106, 105 area. So be mindful there. Let's go ahead and now look at Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, we can sit here and see that we are definitely hitting that monthly period 50 moving average here. Is it going to hold? We'll find out. Is this the retest to push it down? We'll find out. Like I said, guys, we are moving up for the month, the beginning of the month. So typically, like I said here, guys, remember when we were here, we were pushing up, and then we had the sell-off when we hit the junctional points. So I see that in conjunction here, that we dropped down a little bit at the beginning, right? I think it was like, I think that was on Tuesday or Wednesday excuse me, it was a Thursday, right? So we dropped down that Thursday, and then that Thursday and Friday, and then we pushed back up the last couple of weeks. But again, with nominal volume. Well, not so much. Excuse me. I might have been looking at the wrong contract then. Specific, and on my, so this is all right. It actually had more volume here. So it's interesting to sit there and see what I'm looking at. On my chart, on one of my other charts, we actually had a lower amount of volume. So either way, it still holds true what I'm going to bring up. There are no real, there are no big wicks. Like there's just not big. There's no real big wicks. I'm screaming to me that buyers have defended this area, right? That it literally is telling me that, look, the market went and it's pushing up, versus being defended by the buyers, saying that the buyers have conviction to continue it up. So any major shorts that step in could be pushing it up. Now, let's look at the shorts for Bitcoin here real quick. Bitcoin shorts. I know there was a major sell-off on the Bitcoin shorts here. Yeah. So people let go a bunch of Bitcoin shorts here, which basically means a bullish push for the actual market. So we'll see here that we do have a demand zone right in this area right here. So we'll see if it does hold. I know when I checked it, it's not necessarily a strong area, but right here it could very much hold just because it's a daily. So we'll see if it continues up and see if shorts do step in at this level here. It's been going sideways here for a while, so pushing up. Let's check out Bitcoin longs here real quick. Oh wow, yeah. Ooh, I was hoping to see more long stepping in. So you have a sell-off of let's people just get rid of their short, so it's less downward pressure. But this isn't necessarily a positive thing, just simply because I was hoping for them to then go in and buy. If you want to see people buying, right? So you can see here that we don't have a ton of buyers from last week, even though you had a huge let loose of the shorts. So, I mean, to me, I look at that going, that's not a positive thing for Bitcoin because of the long and shorts stepping in, and you don't have a lot, or excuse me, not a lot. There aren't many long stepping, which isn't good. So we'll see what happens here. We will see what happens. This could very much be coming down even further. Um, and you guys can see it. The only real wick is down right here. On the daily. So this is not necessarily a good thing. We could see something that resembles something like this, boom, 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 that drops down into this level. The next level from here is down right here. So if people start to let go of their longs, we do see, you could see a massive sell-off on Bitcoin again. Yeah, that's just what it's looking like, guys. I mean, so we're looking at Bitcoin on the weekly here. We do have more volume, more people buying right here, but we can see the longs wasn't substantial on the Bitcoin long. So it just does not make sense. It doesn't. Let me see. Let me check out the intro. Oh, there it goes. That speaks volumes. Yeah. Well played. All right. So look, we can see here that we have a substantial amount of sellers stepping in from last week. That's very clear. Look, you have all these sellers. Look, all of these sellers, the volume, yes, but look, we don't see, we're not seeing any defense from sellers, right? We just see that the sellers have just stepped back and wait. It's kind of like a rope a dope, right? Where Muhammad Ali would come in and let the guy just beat him up, pop, 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 right? But then what happens is about that, eighth inning, he comes alive and for and he starts to whip up on him, right? Like to slap him around. And I want to bring that up because within the market, that's very much what it's looking like it's happening, is that nothing's being defended. There's no real sell-off here. Like it found some support here, but you can see, look at this right here, right? It's finding support here. It sells off. You have a ton of sellers. I need to go in deeper right here. Yeah, look, you have a ton of sellers stepping right in here. Boom. So I can see here it did sell off, and then you see buyers step in, but not. And I guess you do have buyers stepping in right here, but there's no defense. It's not, when I say defense, I mean I need to see it go down where sellers are stepping in, right? Kind of like this, where sellers are stepping in, right, and then buyers come in and push it back up, right? So right here, let's look at this as an example. You have these buyers, but sellers have stepped back and said, okay, there aren't any levels until we get about right to here. Yep. So here are your sellers stepping in at these levels. And so you can see them just playing in now off these levels, using the institutional areas then to actually push the market down. So it's really interesting to see what's going to happen. There isn't any major moving average that is being held. I guess that 8 on the 4, but even then it's not strong. So I just don't see it continuing up. We'll find out what happens. Here we are. Okay, let's go ahead and go then into, so we can sit here and see that it is kind of correlating with the S&P 500 still. Let's go ahead and check out ETH. So the merge is coming, which is really interesting, right? A lot of Bitcoin maxis are really kind of upset about the merge, right? It's weird because a lot of people, it's almost like Ethereum is moving the market, right? It's going to be really interesting to see. And now let's check out the Ethereum market cap versus Bitcoin market cap, right? This is something that I was really unique, right? We have 212 billion and we have 400. So typically we've had a much more dominant Bitcoin, right? Where it's easily, 70, 80%, 70% of the market cap within crypto. We can see here that the Ethereum market, um, or the Ethereum market cap here is growing. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the merge. Will we see, proof of stake overcome proof of work? Is POS going to take over POW, right? It's going to be really interesting. Also, where are all those Ethereum POW miners going to go, right? There are a few other blockchains out there that they can be used for and to run and to be able to mine. But, Ethereum is definitely pulling away and becoming much more efficient. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I don't think we'll ever see, Ethereum proof of work go away, right? There's still a need for those miners, but like I think it was a BlockFi. I don't know. No, it was OpenSea who said we're not going to welcome any hard forks, right? We're gonna completely support Ethereum's new proof of stake mechanisms here. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this. But so we jump in here and let's check out Ethereum here. Is Ethereum now going to be the new Bitcoin? Like is that going to happen? We're about to find out here real soon. So if they do take over, it's going to be something that it's going to be really, really interesting to see. And we might not, right? I don't want any hate emails from any of the Bitcoin maxis. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, and I'm definitely not one of those guys that are going to sit there and bet for or against something. Like I'm just the guy on the sidelines going, all right, I'm just tallying. I'm just tallying everything, right? I'm just sitting there just going like, okay, what's happening here? And I just want there to be a winner and then for us to move on and kind of go. So whoever wins. Let's go. Let's move on, right? Like I don't know many people know, but the S&P 500, there are a few other indexes out there. S&P 500 wasn't even really a big index back in the 19th century or 1900s, right? Early 1900s. There were other indexes that were actually winning, but somehow maybe through marketing or whatever, they're the index that won, right? So it's just interesting to see what happens. The Nasdaq, right, or the Russell 2000. There are other indexes out there that did the same thing, but whatever because of marketing or just adoptions by other people or ease of use, right? That's the other thing, right? Is ease of use. What can we call that? E E O EOU. EOU, ease of use. EOU is probably one of the primary things that, I mean, people are lazy, right? So if you can make something that is easy to use and it fairly does really well, people will use that over something that's really, really awesome, but complicated, right? You make something real simple and easy, they're going to be like, you know what? It works almost as well. I'm okay with this. We'll go with that one, right? So it's one of those things that it's just interesting. We'll see what happens, right? So let's go ahead and move on though. But Ethereum here, let's go ahead and check out that monthly chart here real quick. We are definitely haven't hit that 8 moving average here, right? Whereas if we look, Bitcoin, Bitcoin hasn't even come close to it. We're still barely even touching the highs of last month, right? Whereas when we look at the Ethereum network, right? Boom, we're coming up to the highs, right? In addition to that, we're going to be touching this 8 moving average. So it'll be really interesting to see is this baby going to hold, right? Is it going to hold and push the market down? Or are we going to see a major sell, or a major push through and a ton of people buying and go gangbusters, right? It's really interesting to see, right? I hope personally that we do see some major a little bit more sell because I still haven't gotten done accumulating, right? I'm just buying and just letting this sit, right? Like buy and hold, right? and letting that baby just kind of chill. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And additionally to that, I'm also gauging off of, let's check this out here real quick. Look, on the weekly chart, we see here that like we had some major defense here, right? We had some major defense right here. Not much here, but some also defense right here. So it's gonna be really interesting to see. Is this going to defend? Are we going to see the buyers? And the thing that excites me here, right, is that we have a sell-off in the beginning of the week, right? And I always talk about, hey, if it's selling at the beginning of the week, it's most likely going to buy back at the end of the week or mid to end of the week, right? We got some major stuff coming out with the merge, right? And so is this institutions pushing the market down so that I can push it back up? Real interesting. So we shall find out. But just to add in right here, when we look at the volume here, we see that we have higher volume. So it's just really interesting to see what is happening here. What is happening? All right. Let's check out that daily. The daily. All right, anyway, so let's jump back into this here real quick. Sorry, this is a weird little side note. I am I'm just curious to see, like, so here's the daily. We're about to push to that 50 period moving average, right? Are we gonna tap this baby and then continue up on for the merge, right? And now we do have previous supplies and that we did hit, right, on the daily, and then it did push down, right? Here we are. Boom. This is an area here of supply. So are we going to hit this 200 period moving average that's in correlation with the 8 monthly, right? And if we do, are there supply zones here that we can go through and play off of, right? So here it is. Boom. Look at this weekly zone. It's the boom, boom. You know what I need to get? You know how like you have these little things you can hit, like click, and it goes and it plays my little jingle. If I have any guys who are listening, if you could create little jingles, right, like for us, where you could sit there and play. If you create a jingle where I could hit and put it into my mixer here, not even mixer, I have it on my. I'm starting to learn how to play piano because I want to start creating little music and stuff like that, and for the show or little jingles. And if you could create a dope little like bear sign or bear jingle or bullish jingle, just play with it. I can start messing with it and see what I could do, or even, download it into my system. So yeah, it would be cool. Anyway, so, and I just a simple little what do you call it? MP3 sound jingle where I could be like bear, boom, 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 like a blood explosion, or like a sell off beat where you're just like, anyways. All right, let me jump back into what we're talking about. All right, so on that weekly Ethereum here, we're coming down into this area, nice little sell off, and the same setup is and to point out, this is a junctional point here, right, where we've had the crosses and coming back to retest. So it's going to be really interesting to see if this holds to push back up. That weekly shot here, on second, is sitting right here, and it is setting up for a nice little setup. So we'll see what happens. I'm not. Let's move these right here. Boom. So any of you online trading academy experts know that when we have a zone within a zone, right, we know typically a zone upon a zone, typically the upper zone becomes the real supply, right? So we'll find out what happens here, but we shall see who overcomes here. Will it be the upper zone or the lower zone? as it's coming down to push back up to push down? Is this the zone that they created to create the new higher low to push to give a higher high? Is this going to come and hit a higher high, then come down, hit the higher low, and then push back up? We shall see. That's what I do see happening. I do see Bitcoin dropping and Ethereum continuing to go. So we'll see what happens. But like I said a while back ago, that there's just too much. There's so many utility. There's just so much utility within Bitcoin, or not, excuse me, Bitcoin, but with Ethereum. And with Vitalik Buterin, man, that dude is just, he's a grinder. You know, he just grinds. You know, that's just how he is. And so I respect the grind. Let's jump into BNB here. You guys can see here that BNB is still solid. We did have a lot of defense from last week. So I know that we have been trading some of the stuff here in Moonrock off of BNB. So it's been pretty nice to sit there and engage what we're doing here. Ralphie, excellent play, my friend. Excellent play. Shout out to Ralphie Pena for his excellent play there. I was not too, yeah. Whatever you used, my friend, good call. So the next one here is a shout out here that we are coming up into the supply zone right here. So on a weekly chart here, for me, I am a little bearish of a sell-off here. But what I want to point out is, let's look at this volume stepping in, right? We can see that the volume started stepping in, but then we definitely had more sell-off stepping in. So we're coming into a junctional point where we can see a sell-off, right? And then CBNB continue down. I would have loved to see more volume stepping in, but we'll see what happens, right? And if we look at, let's go ahead and check out shorts. Oh, what happened here? What happened? And even something like this, we could even point, we could even make something where it just goes. Anyways, so shorts, boom, spot, open interest, shorts, BTC, shorts. Here we go. And where are we sitting at? Type X. What's up, brother? On YouTube comments. Virgil, you have a comment on you. Oh, somebody did come. Apologize. Let's check it out. What's up, Miss Lindsay? Are you going to analyze Lunic as well? It went down quite a bit. Oh, most definitely. I'm going to jump right into that. Let me jump into that, Lindsay, real quick. I just want to finish off BNB here real quick. That is definitely, like I was bringing to you guys, we hit that supply zone that we talked about. And I gave some of the junctional points that I'm looking to get in, right, at those lower levels. So we'll jump into that in a minute. Thank you, Miss Linz. I appreciate that. Actually, you know, I'll move it. We'll jump right into that in a second. Here we go. So we do have a ton of sell-offs here, though. We can see here that our shorts have been selling off. So people are definitely going long, or they just gotten rid off their shorts, right? So let's check out the longs here real quick to see, do we have increase in longs, right? And an increase in the longs, well, boom, boom, boom. I'm sorry. You guys probably think I'm a nut right now. No, not BTC. BNB. BNB. USD. Longs. BNB. Oh, that's really interesting. Did they take it away? That's interesting. I know for a while they did have those there, so I wonder if they took that off the market. I know that Mr. CZ is a pretty powerful man, so if I was him, I would have probably taken it off. Yeah, okay. So I guess we can't really pull those up. And it's just my BTC USD longs. Let's go and pull this back here quick. Oh, shoot, come on. Give it 1 second, guys. I apologize about that. You know, and I've also been thinking about going live just to bring in more people, more viewers, right? On TradingView, and just let them know, you know, where to find me, how to get a hold of me. If anybody knows, if somebody could research that and just send me some of that stuff, that would be dope. That'd be dopey dope. All right, so here we go. We are going to come down here to BNB. Let's try that one more time. Let's see if I'm doing something. All right, not so much. Maybe next one, short token. Nope. All right, let's go ahead. All right, yeah, so let's just jump right in here to just BNB here real quick. We're definitely hitting the upper end right here of the 8-period moving average. I do see it's at least coming down and testing the 20-period moving average in this level, retesting this demand zone at least, right? If not, we did have a big defense of the sellers as we dropped off here. So I can see us at least coming down here, getting more buyers and continuing up if the Ethereum merge continues to push the market up. So we'll see what happens. Let's check out Lunic here real quick. Alrighty. There we go. No, not chain. I was wondering. I was like, that does not look correct. There we are. Yeah, that big sell-off, right? Of oh, come on. I hate it when that happens. All right. All right, so we did sit right here. Now we did have this huge sell-off candle right here. I was actually looking on this on my vacation when I saw this. I was thinking about going in and talking about this, but to me, like I believe I said, when was this? September. It was the 7th. All right, so this sell-off does look pretty. Yeah, you guys can see here that we did not have a ton of buyers sitting here at this level. But then this candle right here, we definitely had more sellers stepping in than buyers. So this push off was not going to continue. Once it put in this big seller wick, we were going to go down at least to these areas here for me is what I'm looking at. So personally, I'm looking at that 000 or 3015 area here, as well as the 000, I think it's 4092. 925. These areas here are nice areas of retracement, and maybe for pickup for institutional buyers, right? Just because it's cheap. Let's go ahead and look at that monthly here real quick. And that is looking ugly on that monthly. I do think that this could hit 3 cents because the next real supply zone. Right now, I know that there is major dilution, what's the word I'm looking at? Basically when they diluted the coin, right? Like, and it really messed with the supply as well as the demand area. But I know that they're looking to definitely go through, and this is key, right, to burn a lot of the excess tokens. So we'll see what happens here. Is this moving because of that news? Is this another thing where you buy the rumor and you sell the news, right? Is this one of those things, or is this going to continue to hold? It all depends on what the Luna community decides they're going to do, right? Are they going to rally and push hard to bring in more people, or are they going to kind of falter, right? It actually all depends on the community. Is the community strong and willing to put in the work to push this higher? It all depends on that. Because if they do, right, and they just start grinding even more, right, they're buying and holding, they're not selling, they're going to be the ones that continue. We saw this with um, what is it? CMC, right? I think it was CMC with also with GameStop, right? The community stepped in and blew out the big institutions, right? And so is the community in Luna going to hold strong? That's where we'll sit there and depend, because I can sit there and analyze here, right? But this is different. This is community driven here completely right now. This coin should have died, and it did not. And so that's crazy. Is Iron Inu never coming out? How do y'all plan on reviving Moonrock from the dead? And what are the updates on Iron Inu? I have family invested. Okay, boom, boom. Thanks for no response, Pedro. I'll take that as my answer. Done checking up on this rug. FN scammers. My bad, bro. I'm checking out hey man, relax. I'll get to you. You guys know that I've never been that way. So I will definitely look at. So yes, Iron Inu is one of our projects. Yes, we're coming up, but the biggest thing is this: is we are waiting for um, we are waiting for basically the market. You know, we want to make sure that we see real a real floor, and that's the biggest thing, right? We're not going to launch something where you're going to lose money. That's one thing I guarantee. Like, that's one thing we're not. So we want to make sure that we have a good floor here. We want to make sure when we launch that, you guys are going to make money. And that's our biggest goal, right? Is that we want to take care of our community. No vanity, my friend. I apologize for not seeing. It was because I'm focusing on Luna here. So forgive me, man. And I'm sorry I did not respond to you quicker than I needed to. I'm sorry about that. But I am focusing on the chart, so forgive me for that as well. But thank you for the answer. And then when it comes to reviving Moonrock, we've got some really big plans. I can't go into it, but a lot of the tech is finishing up. We are going through and finishing up the details when it comes to the CEO. I'm not saying yes or no, but we're about to launch some new news coming up this week and into next week. And additionally to that, we also might be coming out with additional stuff where we're making some partnerships with other. I can't bring up. Man, I want to bring that up. I'm just saying, we're working. We are working, and the core team is moving. So don't worry, my friend. You are not lost, and your money will be you'll make more than enough. So I guarantee that, my friend. And more importantly, it's not even about that, right? Because I can't guarantee if you're going to make money or not, right? It all depends on our community and depends on what they're going to do with it, right? Like, I can sit there and say this is going to go to the moon. Let's check out. Like, let's look at Luna, right? It all depends if Luna. Do you think Moonrock will end up rebranding? I do not know in regards to that. That will depend on if we do bring in a CEO and that CEO decides what he wants to do, right? And then in additionally to that, also depends on when we come out with the DAO, right? And how the DAO sets things up and how we're going to move forward with that. So there's a lot of ifs there, and I'm not going to sit there and, and give you like a yes or a no, because I don't know. And it also depends on the community, depends on the CEO, depends on the restructuring of certain things that we have coming out. But one thing I do know is that we will not stop. until we see Moonrock at least at $1 billion market cap. And I know that we will not stop as a community building and growing and maturing and keep that reaching out, right? And keep doing what we're doing. You know, one thing I do know is we will not fail because we won't stop. You know, it might be 5 years. If you look at you know, this is huge. So if you look at Dogecoin was around since I think 2016, I believe, 2013. I forget exactly when it was, but it's created as a joke on Bitcoin, right? It was just created as a joke. But the community got behind it and they never stopped, right? Now they're in the top, 20 coins. So I say that because they didn't give up. Now, Luna, they have a big community, but are they die hard? I don't know, right? I invested in Iron Inu. I think they plan to release staking with Iron Inu as well. Yes, we do. We are planning on that. Yes, we are. That is coming. Iron Inu is in the works. We are finishing up tech and getting everything set up. We all have family and friends patiently waiting and invested. The growth is coming. Thank you, Josh Typex. I appreciate that. And if somebody will reach out to No Vanity and the Telegram there real quick, just let him know I apologize for not getting to him as quick as he wants me, bro. It's just that doing a live show here. So a lot of stuff going on. So, but my biggest thing is this. It all depends with Luna on their community. If Luna's community is going to rally behind this coin and take it by the bullhorns, right, and decide to ride it, I really believe that we'll see Luna rebrand, right? And they'll come back together, right? Look at Dogecoin, right? They themselves got jacked up, right? Let's look at Shiba Inu, right? These coins were coins that had been rugged a few times. But guess what? The community stayed strong and they kept pushing. And these are great case examples. When investors look at a coin, they look at two things. One, and this is 90% of it, 80%, is the community. Is the community strong and is the leadership strong behind it, right? And if the leadership can garner, what's the word am I looking for? If the leadership can garner, get their community to rally and push forth, yes, that's another thing. But if the community is just grinding ahead, like even though we're small, we are building leaders. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you go to our Telegram, they're killing it. Just we have leadership that are just grinding and pushing it. So I want to encourage you, wait a little bit longer and you'll see it's not a rug pull. We're definitely going to be pushing things through and really kicking it strong. So I want to thank you for your comment and let me go ahead real quick here just to see. No vanity. Bad. On the charts. I did. There we are. Boom. Can't find them. Yeah, what are you gonna do, right? Some people just like to be rude. Listen, and I apologize. I didn't mean to be rude to no response. That's not my heart. I think all you guys know that. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward with that. So yeah, like I said, it all just depends, whatever. But let me go ahead and pull this up. So we do have some demand and supply zones also sitting right here. So let's go ahead and pull this here real quick. This is also another area that potential we could see a turnaround right here. And maybe even like, looking at this as boom. All right, guys. So this is kind of some areas here that I do see that a potential drop back down into Luna. These are some of my points that I'm looking at. I'm not putting my whole entire bag in this. This is important to bring up, right? I know friends of mine who have done very well on the meteoritic rise that we see within Luna, right? And so I know that they've done well. They've done really well on this huge push up. So I'm really happy for that. But in addition to that, if the Luna community seems fickle, so I don't know about the community as much. I haven't checked them out, but I want to encourage you guys to go ahead and check out their community, right? Go in there, and if you believe in this guy, if you guys believe in this community and you guys believe in what they're doing, then like go through and look to invest, right? If not, you don't believe in the community, you don't believe in leadership. I don't know what's going on with the leadership within Luna, but we all know that leadership can be pushed out by the community, right? And we know that it can restructure itself and explode again. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not that it's dead. It did look dead, right? But look, this from here to here, this is nuts. Like this is all community, and I have to, that's huge. It was what is that? 100? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's 4. Um, that's 4. So it's 4. And what is this? Man, look, that's 10 times, at least 10 times its value. So it's really interesting to see what's happening. So again, this previous support or previous resistance or supply can become demand, right? Or support. So be mindful of this area here. If you're looking to get back in, this is where I would look to get in, down in these levels here, right? We do have some support coming in. You can see here and see that there was fighting in this area. So that's a good sign. Somebody did step in and get rid of a large bag here, but it could have been 1 or 2 people selling off at a high point. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's dead, right? It just means that it's just a retracement back into a lower point, and maybe that same bag will buy in at these lower levels, right? So be mindful of that. All right, let's go ahead. Now let's jump right into ADA here. So ADA is it pushed through, came back, found support. Let's go ahead and go into that monthly chart here real quick. Ghetto ADA. Oh yes, I have to check out ADA right here. And I need to make sure that I am paying attention to these comments. I invest in iron. Do you think Moonrock will end up rebranding? Like I already talked to that. We'll find out what happens there. I'm not exactly sure, but we shall find out. It all kind of depends, like I said, on the CEO. All right, next thing, and as well as the community, right? Because the community also talks, and we all have a voice. So that's one thing I do like about what we do within Moonrock. All right, so let's check out Cardano here real quick. I don't have much on it yet within. Next, so here we go. Let's throw on some indicators here real quick. Averages multiple. Let's try that. There we are. We do a nice little switchity switch here. Boom. Faith, that thanks for the reach out. We want to pass along the invite to most stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and just pop this stuff in here real quick. It's going to be 8, 20. I just want to check these ones out here real quick. All right, so let's check this out here real quick. We can see we're definitely finding some support here on these levels here. So these are important to look at. We are putting higher highs and higher lows. Let me check out one more here real quick. I'm going to place this in here real quick. Sorry about that, guys. Here we are. Here we are. Boom. So that's going to go. Actually, what am I doing? Let's do this here real quick. And then we're going to do a nice little. Oh, nice. Do a little. Here we are. Boom. All right, my brothers. Here we go. All right. So we can sit here and see that we're definitely finding support. We're definitely seeing a definite sausage fest here. Cool. I will then be seeing him JB's. I'm getting some stuff. I'm going to bring on a guest here, another chartist. We're going to be doing some nice little education series with another organization called Ninja Lounge on, and it's free of charge. I mean, obviously, we're not going to go into details, right? But there will be, it's called the Ninja Lounge on Telegram, and we'll see what happens. We're going to work out some details here, but we'll see what's up. This device is not connected. Oh, I see. I tell him I see him, but stream. Here you go. What's up, my brother? How you doing? Can you hear me? I can hear you. Cannot. Maybe pick up your voice there.
Hello.
Hello, mate. How you doing, brother? How's your day?
Good man. How are you?
Oh, it's a good day, man. I'm living, loving the dream here, and I'm just out here just talking about charts and doing what I love, doing what I love. What about you?
Nice. Yeah, myself, I just finished my 9 to 5, and that means more time for me to get to focus on the crypto side
Yes.
for the rest of the day. Where are you based?
Oh, I'm based in the U.S. What's up with you? And just so you know, you're on live right now on YouTube and a bunch of other stuff. So just giving you a heads up so you know.
Oh, awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm UK based myself.
Awesome. Um, and we want to be careful, right? Because this is live, and don't give much information about kind of like where you're, just for protection, right? Um, at least now, right? Things are always a little crazy in crypto for things, so we want to be careful. But let's go ahead real quick. So, what got you into the crypto world?
Crypto war. So it was since not sure if we can say this word.
Oh, it's okay.
COVID back
Oh yeah.
when
Shh,
COVID.
don't say that word. We
That's what
say
I'm saying.
yeah. Say Corona. You say Corona. No. Not say
Corona.
Savesa. We say Savesa.
Savesa. Okay,
Savesa.
yes.
That's
So
Savesa.
I was kind of like into stock trading, forex
Yeah,
trading, and
absolutely.
some sort of crypto, but not that much into the crypto. And
Hmm.
then when the Serena hit, I was like, I went more in depth. I want to learn more about crypto. And yeah, since so that's where actually my journey started, and it has been crazy. I could say the last 2 years have been really crazy.
Yeah.
A roller
Yes.
coaster for sure. So yeah, and here we are today. I'm not sure how much I can say talk, so
Oh no,
since
it's
we're on live.
yes, yes. Well, we can talk about the charts here in your view. Like, I keep it very basic. I look at supply and demand zones, support and resistance, and look at moving averages and potential runs and potential turnarounds. So that's is typically what I do look at. Um, but overall, my goal is simply just to help our communities really, grow and mature and understand the charting. And I've been in charts for about 20 years. 2000 and 2000, I would say 2000, 2002. I was paying attention to the markets, was dollar cost averaging, and then I really didn't get into the charts until about age 23, where I would look at mutual fund charts and be like, no, it's there. And I'd pay attention to like the moving averages. I'd put them on, and it's like there's got to be something here. I know there's a language here. And then my mutual fund was like, you know what, there's probably not. He was, or not, or my financial advisor was like, listen, don't pay attention, just keep you doing what you're doing. And I kind of just kept persisting, and then started growing. So I've been at this for about 20 years now, just paying attention to the markets and where they're at and where they're headed. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I know some people do not like charts, but I find them as well. So, I mean, so much interesting. It's you can read so many stuff, but at the same time, you feel like everything that you might read on the chart doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
because it will go like way opposite on the opposite way, etc. But yeah, it's definitely like I could say exciting, really, really exciting stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
So what are your mainly like indicators that you use? You
Oh,
said so.
real simple. I mean, simple moving averages, and then I use the market, just movement up and movement down. It keep it real simple. I mean, the simpler the better. I play off a ping pong action, because I'm a day trader. So I look at ping pong action of movements of it hitting, simple moving averages and potential moves, right? You look at to profit potential. That's really where my main goal is, and make sure that as soon as I can take my risk off of my trade, that's the most important thing to me, right? Is that I sit there and I look at I look at the potential in the market move, right? Like for example, right? So I'm seeing here that we're finding some support on the daily, right? So I tell the people, now everybody has their own, and I always encourage everybody to stick with what they've been using and just to develop it, right? Because everybody's eyes is different in regards to the market. I may see the market moving up, I may see the market moving down. You may see vice versa. But you can be right, I can be right in the market, right? Based off of your risk to reward ratio and um, your win ratio. So when I'm looking at the market, I know my personal win ratio, right, very well. I know my risk to reward ratio very well. What I risk versus how much I think I can get out of that, and I'm very confident in that. So I know that if I have a certain amount of trade. So for me, I use typical moving averages, simple moving averages, and I look at potential market movements, right? So like for example, we could see the market bounce from here, right? And so for me, like I could sit there off ADA, and personally, my own plan, right, is to play from this zone right here, right? From let's say 49 to 49.50, right, to 49.29, and maybe a little bit below, right? But my goal, right, is to see this baby rally at least to here, right, which would be a 4-to-1 risk ratio, right, from here to here, right, and potential this baby could run all the way up, back up to at least the 53 mark, right? So that would be my primary goal. That is what I'm really looking at. But my biggest thing is this: is being able to gauge the volume interest, right? Volume interest is that's the mastery of the market. And that's where it takes 20 years to look, right? Is to be able to understand the mastery of volume and true potential of it dropping, right, versus it turning around, right? That's really where the mastery comes in. That's what it takes. Because like you said, the market looks like it could be moving up, right? But really it's setting up for it to turn around and continue down, right? Like let's take for example right here, right? Cardano. We see that it's pushing up, right? And we see even volume step in it. But the reality is we're not seeing any defense, real defense of the drops, right? We see here this huge push up, this Mariposa candle, but I would have loved to see a true defense of it coming back down. But we didn't see that. And then we see a doji candle after that on the 1 hour. So to me, it's saying it's the next one. If I see a ton of volume step in, if I see this sell-off right here, I wanted to see more volume step in on Cardano, but I didn't see it. It was actually less than. So I knew it was indicating to me that because I had no defense of the market here, that it was going to turn around at least to my 200 period moving average. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. It's really interesting. I mean, the way that you explained, and what is your focus on, and yeah,
Defense.
yeah.
Defense.
The volume always like it's a good indicator to have.
Yeah,
It's
but it's
it's your friend.
understanding it. It's understanding it because you can sit there like I said. Look, you see high volume coming in. We see high volume coming in, so you're thinking it's going to continue, right? But then if we go to a higher time frame, right, this push up, are we hitting higher time frame SMAs? Oh wait, look, we are. So we hit the weekly, and people don't pay attention to the weekly, but you need to pay attention to the weekly every day. Just pay attention to it. Understand where we're heading, right? Then in addition to that, we see on the 4 hour that it's not defending. So it's probably going to turn around once it hits that higher time frame SMA. Or a higher time frame movements will always trump what? Lower time movements. Always, every single time, every day, all day long. Bah, bah, bah. It's like Mike Tyson taking on Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray is amazing, right? But the reality is Mike Tyson's the heavyweight. One hit, right, can boom. And Mike Tyson knows how to take hits from heavyweights. So not to say that Sugar Ray couldn't lay hands on him. Definitely could. Boom, boom, boom. But one hit from Mike Tyson, and it's a done deal, right? Ray's out of the ring. So it's just really interesting to sit there and see what's going on here in the markets. So that for me, I sit there and I look at this movement going, this potentially could come down and least test these areas of the 400 and the 89. And I'm also looking at to seeing what is actually being stepped in. What moving average is actually being played off of, right? And that's where the ping pong effects and how certain things worked with volume. So it's just interesting to see as we look at things. I'm sorry, go ahead. I think I over talked. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, all good, all good. I could just say again that it's really interesting. The way that you explain and you read the chart. So yeah, definitely you look like you have a the experience is in there. It's not just about reading a candle on the when it touches the moving average or whatever.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Artemis, how you doing, my friend?
Doing well. How are
Things are
you?
well. I'm doing really, really well. Just enjoying the markets and looking at where we're going to see what's going on. And these guys are I mean, we're kind of all OGs of the Ninja Lounge, right? Like, so I've kind of been hiatus a little just because of Moonrock and what's been going on there, but definitely it's interesting. And you've been how long you been running uh how long have you been within the uh Latin Ninja Lounge?
We were there in the beginning
Yeah.
as just community members, and then I was hired as the AMA coordinator and a mod,
Mhm.
and fell in love with it. and had big visions for it and all of these ideas of, what we could do. And then, just turns out that now I'm co-owner. So it worked well. We really enjoy it, and we love what we're building there. We want to bring resources like this actually into the lounge, and quality resources for people because they're needed.
I agree. I agree with that. I think it's one of those things in the market that there's a lot of people who are doing this, but they just don't necessarily have that experience, right? Of the longevity of seeing the markets move. And I was in boot camp, and I remember one of my drill sergeants telling me, going, "Listen, I'd take a 20-year veteran who's stupid than a 1-year brilliant guy, right off the jump, because it's the experience of something that you can capture the little details, right? It's like I'm huge into boxing, and it's like you can have someone who's a great boxer, right? But there are little tricks in boxing that only comes with time, and they could pivot the wrong way and knock out the smart hands. So I don't know. It's just
No, that's right. It makes sense. I mean, the more experience you have with something, you get just a deeper understanding and a bigger picture of it. And then also just kind of how it fits into everything else as well. So no, this is actually something new to me. Technical analysis and chart watching, and I've just started to get into it. I'm fairly new to crypto. Just got in about a year and a half ago, and there's a lot to learn. So
yeah.
I've got my gifts and my strengths, but I'm surrounded by people who have their own unique specialties, and so we like to bring different personalities and people with different skill sets into our lounge, because it kind of takes almost like a village to get a complete understanding of what's going on. And yeah, because it can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. It really does. I know within Moonrock, getting that, I mean, like, it's interesting because I kept telling people, like, look, there's certain things going on in the market. And I was explaining to them, like, I used to go on live with them, right? In our, we would have VCs, right? And just hang out. I would do chart analysis for them all the time. And I'd be like, guys, look, we're in a downtrend. Like, this is a downtrend in the market. And, and they people were like, no, Bitcoin's going to go to 100,000. I go, we put in some lower lows here with some big volume, and we're coming up to that 200-period moving average. I think Jay Heyer, she had asked me about, forgive me for the hair, she asked me about, like, hey, what do you think about Bitcoin? And I said, it all depends on two things. One, we're coming up the 200-period moving average. And this is when Bitcoin was at, I think he sold off to the 40,000, and it was coming out to the 50,000. And we're sitting there, and here's the thing, right? You got to be really careful, because when you're running a project, right, you don't want people to sell off on your project, but then you also want to be truthful and open and honest with them, right, of what potential could happen. And so I was sitting there, and me and the devs were talking things over, and they're like, listen, be open and honest, but don't necessarily hit on one point where it's like going to scare the entire community into selling off. And I said to him, I said, but even if they do sell off, let's say they do, the honesty that we bring to the table down the road is what's going to bring them back, right? And it was one of those things that, as we keep building within Moonrock, right, i.e., what we're doing, letting people know what potential could be happening is one of those things that will bring in investors down the road, in addition to the people who sell off. In the same sense for within the Ninja Lounge community. And by the way, if you will, you can, if you don't mind, real quick, and I'm at this point where I have a few people hit me up as well. Send me the link here real quick, and I will post it in our system for the Ninja Lounge as well, so that I can post that to people. So if you guys want to go through and come and check out us on the Ninja Lounge, and they do AMAs with projects all the time, and they go through and they do a lot of cool stuff. You can come check us out. I will be probably hosting some type of educational stuff through Moonrock and what we're doing there as well. So it's going to be something that's going to be really cool to kind of collaborate with you guys and really kind of like just see the community grow overall, right? Real quick, boom. There we are. Thank you. I appreciate that. Boom. We're going to put this in here. Copy. Here you guys go. So this is where you guys can find us here real quick as well. The Ninja Lounge. They're a great organization. I've been with them for a long time. So Ninja Lounge as well. Checking them out. They're a great they're just a good organization. I like them a lot. I like them a lot. So what got you into crypto, if you don't mind me asking, Artemis?
Well, what got me into crypto? Crypto is something I never thought that I would get into.
Here, here. Here.
I'm more of a nature lover. I would never consider sitting in front of a computer all day, and then crypto just seemed like it was so far out there, something I would never be able to grasp or comprehend. It was overwhelming to even think about how to get into it. Yeah. But I had a friend approach me. He worked on me for about a year. And there was a project that he said was very interesting. Long story short, I ended up getting on Telegram, joining their group, and the community they had there was so amazing. They had 24-hour voice chats. This was before their pre-sale and after their pre-sale and after the launch. And the voice chat was open 24 hours. It was very welcoming, no stupid questions. So much information was shared. And I feel like I learned so much just in those first few weeks, just by listening in on those voice chats. And I got hooked. And I just started, I couldn't stop because it was so interesting. And it was challenging me. I had been in a minor car accident and had just a minor brain kind of injury, concussion type of thing going on that was lingering. And actually the challenge of learning crypto, I think, really helped my brain to heal, just to kind of reconnect those neurons and get it firing. So so I continued it for many reasons. I learned a lot of new things, and then just getting into the Ninja Lounge and becoming the AMA coordinator, I got into a lot of, the networking piece, because it's community driven. Crypto is all about human relationships, in my opinion. Without those, we wouldn't be able to do anything that we're doing. It's all around people and our connections. So that's what I really, really focus on. And so yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I could go on, but that's a little bit. But I'm really glad that we reconnected. This feels like a really nice reunion. I've been thinking about you a lot. We want to know more about Moonrock, what you're doing. And so really excited and fortunate that you want to come into Ninja Lounge and share.
Definitely do. This is where I think it's going to be a great connection with what is happening within the industry. I think so I'll put it like this. So as a trader, it's a solitary endeavor, right? You got to figure it out yourself a lot of times, and you try to get connection within community. And a lot of times, trade secrets, either you got to pay exorbitant amount to get that information, or you got to at least know a friend who's figured it out, right? And within crypto, it's not solitary. It's very community driven. Like, I think, when did we first connect? I think you were asking me about something, and then about a project, right? It was, what project was it? That was, I think you were in that. Were you in Tribe 100X originally?
I was originally, yes.
That's what it was. Yes, and we talked. I remember you were with your fiance at the time. Was he your husband?
No.
Whatever it was. So either way, I think we had communicated, right? And then we were talking, and then our friend, who is one of our regulars here, who comes on, Brinks, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
My buddy.
Brinks connected us because he started building up his following on Vetter. Are you still involved in Vetter and still connecting with them as well?
Not so much anymore. No.
I actually I connected with Robin. They were doing the what was it? Not the tribe, the Skylabs launch, and I'd asked her a couple questions, and she was actually very engaging and very polite. So I was really impressed with the thing. It's kind of sad what happened with them, right? With I still have a lot of tokens with them at Skylab and everything like that. But I, fingers crossed. I know that they're doing a lot of marketing right now and really kind of pushing things up. So it's an interesting thing to see right here. I remember telling a friend of mine that be ready for something like this where price is defended. Once price is defended, where we see price sell off and then see buyers step in at a large level, that's where you can sit there and say, okay. And a lot of times what happens is institutions will sell off a market. Okay, if they really like a project, they will sell off a project. And then from there, oh, whoa. Okay, so if you guys got to go, don't worry about it. We can sit down and we can talk down the road. So it'd be great. But yeah, give me a call. Let me know when's a good time, and we can politic.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we weren't sure quite what to expect, but this was a really good teaser.
Yes, yes.
And taste of what you're doing. So thanks for inviting us in, and yeah, we'll do a lot more of this into the future.
Thank you for your time. If you want to give me a call later today, or whatever is good, you have my personal information, so you can reach out to me. And if you need to get a hold of, I'll send in Moonrock's chat too as well. So I'll talk to you soon.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Pedro. Take care.
Many blessings. Take care.
Hey Pedro,
Later.
it was a pleasure to meet you, bro. And yeah, looking forward to catch up and learn more about each other.
Definitely.
See you later, man.
Later, man. Many blessings. Bye. All right, guys. So those are some of the stuff that I plan on doing with the Ninja Lounge. I'm probably going to be doing a little bit of educational stuff there as well. Obviously, Moonrockers, you guys know you always have access to me to ask me questions and things of that nature. Here we go. What is going on? All right, so let's go ahead and jump right back in here. This took a little longer than what I was expecting here real quick. So we can see here that ADA here, it has the 8-period moving average coming down into it. You can see that we're tapping into these higher time frame SMAs, or excuse me, higher time frame weekly SMA sitting right here. So we're tapping these and we're having the ping pong effect here. So we did close above that 8 moving average. Now we're retesting this to see. I wish we would have done a little bit more of a stronger close. It would have been better to see us close more at the top here, but we did see a sell-off on that weekly period moving average here. So we're holding fairly strong. Let's check out the lower time frame here real quick. Like I said, as I was speaking to Artemis, Ezone, I believe his name, he, like I was explaining to her, that there wasn't much of defense here. So we're tapping this area here, where we primarily do have some pretty strong buys sitting here. Excuse me, guys, I got a hair tickling me every time I breathe, so forgive me for trying to get things going. So the Ninja Lounge, there you go. Boom. So the Ninja Lounge in LinkedIn, you guys should be able to get that as well. You can see here that I am waiting for this kind of bit of a sell-off. We do have a demand zone right here, but you do see here that it is starting to sell off. So we'll see here real quick. Yeah, we did have some defense here. So you can see here, right, as we jump into a detailed level, that it is defending. So we'll have to see. Let me jump to that. No. Okay. So yeah, it is definitely looking like it is starting to sell off here. I would have loved to see a higher amount of buyers stepping in. It all depends on if ADA is going to be able to gauge. So let's check out the 30-minute on Bitcoin. So bye. What time is it now? We just started here. We're starting to have a little bit of a crossover. So I do see it's coming back down to these levels here on Bitcoin, the 21,718 area here. So we'll see what happens on Bitcoin. But you can see here that we are holding these levels here, which is basically, let's check out. Yeah, it's that 8-period moving average. I wish I could get the 12-period moving average on, let's see if I can get it. I can't even get it here. 12-period moving average, or excuse me, 12 hour, the 12 hour, or not the 12 hour, the 8 hour is really where we're probably hitting that 8-period moving average. So I would need to go look at my other. So Cardano, you can see here, we tapped that 8-period moving average, or excuse me, 20-period moving average, and we're starting to see a sell-off. We're honestly also seeing some areas here where it's not necessarily showing strength coming in on that week, but we did just start the week off, so we'll see what happens here. All right, guys, let's check out. I know I spent a lot of time here. Let's check out the next one. That is going to be. Alrighty then. So BNB XRP. Let's check out XRP here real quick. Boom. XRP. Looks like I got a lot of people coming in. All right. So we can see here that, and thanks Jay Hire, appreciate that too. Yeah, they're a good group. I like them a lot. A really good group. I've been with them for a while now, so I like what they're doing. And they're all about really just bringing value to the crypto community and really just kind of calling out scams, right? Calling out scams as well as introducing pretty good projects into the network. I would also love to bring in a few more other major call channels as well, right? They're doing some, I like Brian with Coin Launch. Forgive me, Brian on Coin Launch Community. I like them. I think they do a good job. I know he's called out a few scammers that have been, they kind of went after him personally. When he went and doxed himself, they tried to go after him, but he ninja jitsu'd them. So they kind of leave him alone now. But respect to him as well. Shout out to Brian with them. Let's go ahead real quick. I even might bring him on here in a week, maybe this week, next week. We'll find out when we can actually collaborate and talk. But let's go ahead and go right back into the XRP. So XRP is showing, you guys can see here that our the weekly volume here is not necessarily big, but what I do like again is that it was defended, that when they had to sell off at the beginning of the week, that they saw it push forward. That was important to me. In addition to that, again, it first went, and let's go into this here real quick. We saw it first rally up right here on Sunday, right? And then a nicer seller defense, right? So we do have some areas here that we could see support kick in, especially on XRP. Also, we know that the lawsuit here with the SEC is pretty much getting wrapped up. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen in that aspect. But the biggest thing is this: is if you're looking to take part in this, I have these areas here where we can see a sell-off into these areas here, as well as support levels. Let's check out the monthly here. There we go. Boom. Boom. And then we're going to pull out that weekly here real quick. Ooh, the 20-period moving average slam down from last week. Boom, here we go. This is how we do it. Sorry. All right. Man, I just realized if I start saying that stuff, they're gonna ban. They will. What is it? I think Facebook and all those guys will get mad at me if I do little things like that. I do not own rights to that song, so forgive me. All right, here we go. And then what is this one? Let's make sure that monthly. Is that a weekly? I think that was the weekly right here. Yeah, forgive me. I'm gonna make this a weekly here. So these are kind of our areas that we can look for the market to kind of ping pong in between. So if we do see the market drop, I do see us coming down into this area of that 33-cent mark. And then from here, coming down into the 29-cent mark, if we do a sell-off in Bitcoin and or Ethereum, right? This is these areas that we'll be looking to gauge. So you can sit there and play the sell-off. If we do a buy, right? And this is important to understand, right? If we're buying from these areas, these are, be paying attention, right? You use your own markers of your entry points, right? Making sure that you're understanding that. And additionally to that, the turnaround of the markets here is important because if it's defending, if we keep seeing, these defense of the markets where we see a sell-off and then comes back and a sell-off and then come back, those are important to pay attention to because that means that institutions are establishing orders into the market. So when they start to sell off hard, we know that their up here is going to be their break-even point, right? And where they're going to try to be selling off. So we want to be paying attention to the volume and smart money. Now, this is still a low area in comparison to the peaks, right, of XRP, right? We know that, like, their peaks are up in these levels, right? So that's $2 versus 33 cents, right? And if we see another bull market come into the market here, we're talking, you can $2, we can see it get to $20, right? Because it does a 10x from its previous high, right? Typically is what it does. So these levels here at 33 cents potentially could be very cheap, right? Very cheap. Now, personally, I'm looking more down in these levels here for my own personal buy, the 20 cent, the 12 cent, because I still feel like Bitcoin is probably going to have a sell-off. That's if we don't have I don't know if that's the correct word, capitulation. I think that's the wrong word. But if we don't see a power change of Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? If we see Bitcoin keep holding that dominant, the crypto dominance of a market value, right, then we'll keep it. But it's interesting to see that 50%, right, almost 50% of that market value is now held by, not 50, well, 25%. It's pretty hard. F is strong, right? So it's really interesting to see the dynamic, the power dynamic there. So that's where we need to be mindful of, right? And forgive me, that just went all over the place. Boom. Let's make sure we and let's check out any comments. No comments. I got to be paying attention to the comments there for a second, so I apologize. All right, here we go down in here in these levels. Like I said, first retracing back level into that 33 cent mark. And then here we go. Let's go ahead and apologize by that. There we are. All right, so sorry about that, guys. Here we go. So this is the area in which we're looking for it to come down into. We'll find out what happens here. Let's jump right back in now to the ADA. We already did ADA, Solana. Let's check out Solana here. Now, guys, I'm going to start cutting through these here real quick because I know this is a pretty long one. So let's go ahead. And Josh, you're right. We need to start pre-recording these so that I can start breaking these up in segments for people. I think people would like that even more. So also, guys, if that's something that you would want to see done, let me know in the comment section. Like, retweet, and share on your guys' social media platforms. I'd appreciate that. All right, guys. So this is one of the things that you can sit there and see us here real quick. And this is real important to check out. All right, now we can see here that on our weekly chart, right, that we see that 20 now drop all the way down to here on Solana, right? We did see the sell-off from the last few weeks down in here, but now we have a nice little buy. But what should you also be paying attention to? Volume, right? We should be paying attention to volume, right? And how much of the stuff is being defended, right? When it dropped, was it defended with a ton of volume, or was it defended with a small amount of volume because sellers didn't, or shorters did not step in? So it was defended. They did not need a lot of buyers, which hence, when sellers are doing that, they're waiting for price to push up, or institutions are just waiting and creating a false rally, right? That they're the ones who are kind of hoping to push the market up to turn it back around. So we see here that on this weekly chart that we did hit that 8-period moving average while we're in a supply zone. So let's check out the daily supply zone. You can see here that we hit this area here while we're hitting that 50-period moving average on the daily and in a conjunction point. So for me, I'm looking at this going, I'm waiting for price to show, especially on a smaller time frame, that we're going to go and continue down, right? I'm waiting for, on a smaller time frame, a battling of like here, you can see here pushed up, right? And then you saw them defend their position. Push up, defend, push up, defend, right? So these are little things that I'm looking to see, right? We don't see a lot of defense in this area. So potentially we could see the market with Solana come back down to the 34.55 mark, if not much lower, right? So we want to check out the larger time frames, right? Larger time frames on my weekly. I definitely see I do see a pretty larger drop down into the previous demand zone, which is that 32-cent mark area. So we'll see what happens there. If not, and it does continue, we can see here that the 20-period moving average is strong, has a good descent here. So be mindful of that. Boom. There we go. Let's go ahead and put this here real quick. All right, this is the daily. Give me 1 second, my peoples. All right, so you can sit here and see this here, guys, real quick, that we have, so we can see there that we have a supply zone in addition to that with a moving average in between. And in the same sense, I could see this coming back down here. Let's check out our dailies. So our dailies are sitting in these levels right here. So this isn't looking too pretty. I could see it maybe continuing up to here to the 40% mark or the $40 mark, and then continuing down. So we'll see what happens here. We shall see. So let's go ahead and move forward here. Let's go to the next one, which is going to be DOT. Let's check out dot. All right, so this is something that I want to point out here real quick within us. So you can see here how we are ping-ponging off of this level here. The reason why I want to bring this up is many times when you see this, you need to wait for an explosion out and then a retest. So this could explode out and then retest and then push levels down. So let's check out our weekly, because at the beginning of the week, we can sit here and see that we are ping-ponging off of, and when I say ping pong, I don't know if anybody's ever played like ping pong, right? Where it's like, or, when you play, what's it called? Table tennis, and people are what do you call it? Volleying back and forth, boom, 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 right? And it ping pongs. So that's what I mean from these levels, where we're in between that daily SMAs where we're seeing it ping pong before it really rallies. And so many times it's playing in between these zones that we're seeing with the supply and demand zones that it plays between. So it's important to understand that the market might sit there and do that for a week, 2 weeks, right? Before it really gets a conviction towards one direction or another. Give me 1 second. So here we are right here. Let me go ahead here real quick, tapping it right down here. We did sell off of that 8-period weekly moving average for today. So this isn't necessarily a good sign for DOT, just primarily because, well, it went up for the day already, and it very much could see a sell off into the 729 area, or let's check out the 30-minute here real quick on that volume. Yeah, we're definitely seeing more. We're definitely seeing more volume step in. How are we doing on the defense of the market in itself? Yeah, I would maybe gauge this in a sense where it definitely could come back up into these levels of 94 and then see a sell-off. It all depends on the defense. I do see us slipping down in between all of this, at least to these levels here, and then potential all the way down to here at the 681 mark for a day trade. So something to be paying attention to. Always look for retracement, whether you use Bollinger Bands, whether you use hike and knock trails or a trailing stop, or however you do it. Always wait for the retracement into an area. And so make sure that you're looking for this into at least that 776 area or even the 793 area off of this. Let's go ahead and check on one last little thing here. It's not looking too pretty. We'll see what happens here, though. All right, so next one after DOT, we're going to go to Doge, everybody's favorite coin. All righty. Oh, no, what happened? Wait 1 second, my peoples. All right, so you can sit here and see that the volume here has definitely dropped off. So in comparison on the monthly. So we'll have to see conviction step in. We did come and tap into this from last month's zone here twice. That's impressive. That is impressive. It did go lower into this. So we did see a defense of buyers, but how much of volume did we see step in? Collapse. I don't know why this is being weird. All right, here we go. So the daily area here, we can sit here and see that we definitely touched our 50-period moving average. So I'm looking to see from that monthly chart, we did see that sell-off here of what we talked about. it defended this area very well off of that 8-period moving average. And it did blow through our zone here. So for me, I'm looking at this going, it's still weak. I mean, it really is still weak. And we're not necessarily seeing a ton of real buyers stepping in right here. So it could just simply be consolidating, riding this level until they put in enough short positions to drop it to this next level, where they can maybe pick up more. Like I said, I'm more of a buyer at the 3 cent, 1 cent area, right? Like this is my area that I'm looking for, right? For it to come down into. Where I want to be looking to maybe purchase Dogecoin. I still feel like Dogecoin is a good system. I think they've done a lot of good stuff. They're still working with Elon Musk. I know that he sold off his position, but he's not done with the actual position itself. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I wonder if he's going to be a buyer down the road as it sells off, but we'll see what happens here. And then the 50-period moving average here. Boom. Here we go. All right, so next portion of this is sell off that 20-period moving average on that weekly. We've already touched this almost 4 times now. And it's, as you can see, it went deep down into our zone here. So I just don't see it. There's the 50-period moving average sitting right here. It probably will tap this as a support, as a resistance, and then see it continue down. So we'll find out what happens. I don't know. I can't gauge which way it would probably want to move. I feel like it's going to be doing a ping pong until it draws back down into our levels in this area. There we are. All right, let's check out the next one. Good old Doge. Let's try out Matic. Good old Polygon. Matic. All right. So Poly, you can see that we sold off that 8-period moving average on the monthly, and we came down. So we sold off here. We came down, found support on that weekly period, 20-period moving average, and we're now ping-ponging in between our junctional points. So we'll see if it continues up. My biggest thing is, like I said, let's see this here real quick. So you guys can see here that we had a huge amount of sell-offs right here. Let's pull this in. There we are. So you can see here, we had that huge sell-off right here. Boom, boom, boom. And then the volume step in isn't as much as I would have liked to see volume step in on this. So I'm definitely, but we did see a defense of the buyers here. So we saw it sell off and then push back up last week. So we definitely did hit the 20-period moving average last week and push up. We are seeing this week, as of so far, this week we're definitely seeing a finding support. It is finding support on that 50 and 8-period moving average, and it pretty strong support, it looks like. Check this out. I wish that this wasn't so weak like that. Whatever reason, my volume here is not wanting to work out correctly, and it's going to take longer for it to actually work. Let's see if this will work. Here we are. So this huge sell-off right here, you guys can see, defense was fairly good on that 30-minute mark right here. Let's check out the 15 minutes, see how they gauge that. Yeah, we still had more of a sell-off than a buy. You can see here that it's definitely looking, it's defending it, and the sellers are defending its position. So I do see Matic coming back down, and from here, there is no defense until we see this to that 86-cent mark. So gauge that off that daily. Wait for it to maybe it to turn around. Boom. We'll see what happens. But yeah, they are defending their position to see it continue down. And let's check out the higher time frames. Yeah, at least down to here. So we'll see what happens. But I do see us playing the downside from here because they did push it up at the beginning of the week. Now it's looking like it might want to turn around on Matic. And I would say at least come down to the 85-cent mark for a short and then continue it from here. It potentially could come back down to the 74-cent mark. Or you could see if you can get a runner from here. All righty, next, Matic Shiba. Shib. Holy Shib. Sorry. All right, let's check it out. Shibbity shib shib. We are definitely ping-ponging off of these moving averages, that 8 and 20. It is not playing nice, but it is moving in an area where, again, we're looking like it is. All right, here we go. We go to the daily. So the daily will kind of give us more of an indicator. So the SHIB did not put any real defense on the buyers, and we definitely defended the shorts. So I am more concerned with this pushing down than it pushing up on the daily. Let's see if we're hitting. Yeah, so we're in between here. So the next junctional point here is right here at that 20, and you have that 8. Now, yes, we did have buyers step in here. So I want to point that out, though. We did have a ton of buyers step in here from last week, and it did hold off here. But again, I want to point out that we did have a bunch of sellers step up the week prior. So we'll find out which one holds. It's always difficult, right? Because if the broad market sells off, then this is going to be going down here. So this is a reaction of a reaction that we're looking at. I would gauge movement off of here, if and then statements. Okay, it's important to understand. You want to be paying attention to see, are they defending it on the smaller time frames? Here, not so much. We're seeing buyers step in here more so than sellers. So this is going to be really your edge of defense here, right in this level here. So if it does rally from here up, SHIB is looking, I could see a sell-off coming back at this level of the 00013 mark to go lower. Now, where did it come down to? We saw a rally last week. I need to go back and check out my video. Did I say it was going to drop, or was I think I said it was going to drop. Let me see why. Oh, that's why. Because we did not put any, that's why, because we did not put any real shorts or any real buyer wicks in this level. So last week we did see the sell-off come in. Looks like it in the beginning. And then let's try this out here. So let's say a second. So last week we did see it sell off in the beginning. Boom, right here. Then we rallied up. The only indicator for me really is the fact is that we don't, on that daily, we just, it dropped it here. So it to me, it indicates that it wants to drop, even though we're moving up here from a, from my own personal technical analysis. I would sit there and say that it really wants to drop down here, and they're just messing with people on these levels. They'll probably bring it back up to these levels here and then drop it. But if it continues following that 30-minute 8, as we can see it moving down, I see it coming down to at least the 0012 mark at these levels. There was a nice defense of that 30-minute wick here. So we'll see if they just pushed it down to push it back up to continue it down. We'll find out. Go here real quick. Next one is going to be AVAX. Good old AVAX. Here we go. AVAX. And if you guys would, if you would hit the like button on that, that would be great. Those who are listening, I'd appreciate that, just simply because it does tell the algorithms to put me out even further. I don't care if I get a lot of subscribers, but I care that Moonrock does. And so if we can get the algorithms to really like us, that would be great. Boom, here we go. Okay, so we're seeing this. Yeah. I do see it's right here. It's ping-ponging off of these levels here. So I see it's coming back down to at least this area, if not further, at least down into retest this area again, putting a lower high into a lower low at this level. Next, let's go ahead. I'm actually going to go through real quick here and post in how I look at the markets. So here we are. There it is. Yeah, I'm actually looking at a few of these other ones. So here we go. So the next one is AVAX. Check out AVAX. Here we go. AVAX, same similar setup, guys. It's just ping-ponging off these moving averages. The difference here is that we're definitely seeing more of a bearish sentiment, simply because we're seeing more or less, actually seeing more volume here, but it's not pushing. Let me check too. Yeah, it's kind of equal. So you have sell off, push up, sell off, but we're not seeing defense except at these levels where they're trying to. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, that it's playing off of both these junctional points here. So it's gonna sit here for a minute until one takes over, and we'll see which one they engage. We do have a lot of buyers stepping in here, so that potentially could be a major point, but we'll see. Sellers down in here were pretty big. Buyers stepped in, but there's no real defense at these levels. You want to see it sell off and come back in, and it's not. There's no defense. Yeah, I would sit there and say this potentially AVAX could be coming back down again, testing the $19 mark area, 1911 area to even a further junction point. So yeah, definitely. If not, we see it also starting to find support on this 8 and continue up to the level of 22 mark here, where we do have a major supply zone here on the 4-hour level, where there is, so we can sit there and play that as well. Intraday. Let's check there. And it's looking pretty weak right here in this level right here. So we'll see what happens here at this level on the 4-hour. I'm going to throw in a weak indicator here for you guys. So you can see our indication on the line here. All right, here we go. So next levels. If I'm looking for this, I'm definitely looking for this to come back down into this level down here that we have marked on the weekly. Pick up more buyers here. But probably down into these levels right here into that 17 area, just because it's been tested. So if it does hit that level up there, it'll put in a higher low, or excuse me, a lower high, which will then bring it back down to the 17 or 18 mark, 1799-ish, 18 mark, definitely. All right, boom. Next level after AVAX is going to be Tron. All right, anyways, so next, here we go. This is the monthly APR moving average. You can see here that it's not necessarily engaging, but it is playing off that period, 20 period moving average on Tron here. So we did do a sell-off like we talked about last week or the week before. Nice little sell-off, come back, rebound. Let's check out. You can see here, though, the last few weeks, we did see that we had higher volume, and then we had lower volume here from last week, and then again, lower volume here from last week. So I do see us kind of gap into yesterday's supply, last week's supply. How we did, looks like it did gap into, what is this going to be? Open. 427. All right, cool. So that did not. So it was an even transition. So it did come right over. So I do see this maybe continuing down at least into this demand zone. Yeah, coming down to the 6 cent mark here is where I'm looking at 6164. And it could even come down further to about the 659 area, 0.059 to the 6 cent area. So you could get a nice little sell-off down to retest the lows from last week. Primarily also because our SMAs are above price. So I do see this pushing down even further. You have a lot of pressure. And then as we look at the day, that 8 isn't really stepping in as holding anything. So I could see it pushing down even further. So be mindful of that data. Yesterday, we did have a good sell-off of the of this level here. So came back, retested, and sell off. So we'll see what happens. And it sold out pretty good when it comes to volume there. All right, next. Let's try out the next one. Uniswap. Okay, Uniswap, looking at that monthly. Okay, so we definitely are hitting this right here. Or most likely on that monthly is going to come back and retest. And I think we even have that weekly. Yeah, we even have the weekly 8 sitting right here as well on Uni. So we did see a sell-off of last week, similar to Tron. It did touch that 20-period moving average. So we'll see. And it was a good defense of this area here. So last week did hit that 20-period moving average. We did do a nice little sell-off, come up, touch the 20, sold off to a level. Did it hit lower low? No, it did not. It's nice. So that is a bit of a bullish sentiment. So that explains why we saw it did push up to a new high. So we'll see. Now we do have these higher time frame estimates. We have the 200-period moving average as well as the 50-period moving average on the daily and weekly. You have that 8-period moving average as well as the monthly 8-period moving average in this level of the 7.5, 7.3 area. So I would definitely be looking to be shorting, maybe gauge going long in this area here. The only indication that I would look for that we would see a sell-off is that we have no defense right here of the sell-off. So, excuse me, I would have loved to see another sell-off where it would come and touch this area here and then rally back up. But it is showing a little strength here based on the fact is that it is putting a higher low here. So, and it just tapped it and then moved back up. So that's interesting. So we'll see what happens there. Look, if this continues higher, guys, look to capitalize the next resistance level, at least in this area, at least right here, the 712 to the 734. Even the 750 if it really starts to rally. But be paying attention to these levels once it reaches here on that long, because this could then see another turnaround in the market where it continues down. Or comes back down and touches up and keeps going up to the next level of the 8.5 mark, 8.56 mark. Alrighty, next level. Let's check it out. Leo. Leo is still in this consolidation period here. We are hitting these moving averages here, as we can sit there and see it. So what is this? This is the weekly, so let's check out the monthly here. Symbols. There we go. Let's go do that here real quick. All right, so then we have the monthly right here. That is going to be. So this is, it's not necessarily, this is definitely not turned on per se, but it is looking like it is holding this level. So we do want to make sure that we understand that we're in this sideways pattern. We're definitely in this. All right, let's go ahead and mark this as. And then right here. So the sideways pattern on Leo here, it's important. So if we start to break through either of these, wait for a retracement and then continue down, we do have that monthly period 20 moving up in conjunction. We did pierce through this. Again, we could see a ping pong action here for a while here on this monthly chart. So that's, and no real conviction on volume stepping in for a directional play. That's going to be hard to gauge. Let's check out that weekly and see if it can tell us even more. Tell us a little bit more. We definitely are seeing that sellers are defending their positions at these levels. So on the weekly, and we do have a big buyer. We do have big buyers stepping here. But again, we want to check out that lower time frame. See if we can see any major. Nope. What I was doing is looking for any major swings of selling or buying that are off the charts, right? If you do see something like that, then it's telling you that it wants to move in a certain direction. So that weekly chart, we definitely were watching, as we can see it defending its position, right? Boom, the shorts are defending their position here. But they are being held by the buyers. So it's going to be real interesting to see who wins off on these for Leo. Real interesting. If you're looking to play these movements, look for the ping pong action of the simple moving averages, simply because they'll bounce out because we are in a consolidation period. So what it'll do is it'll come down, it'll probably tap out and take people shorts right below those moving averages and then continue back up. So like on that 50 period moving average, you would look to gauge it as it taps people out, and then you want to capture on the continuation up, right, where it continues the movement up, and vice versa. If it goes and hits the moving averages up here, right, and then you see it then turn around and continue down, that's what you're gauging your movement off of, right? And so we all have different risk reward potential. So there's little things like that. But this is in a sideways pattern movement right now. You still can play this at least down to the 475 area here. You can see down here that we did not have any defense kicking in. So again, we potentially could see it rally down to this 400 period moving average in that level there. So pardon me here real quick. All right, the next one, let's go ahead. It's going to be Leo. Why am I don't know why I'm forgetting what these guys. Why am I forgetting them? Cosmo. That's who we are. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so your 200 period moving average is sitting here. Let's check out your monthly here real quick. You can see that we did come and we touched the 8 period moving average at these levels here to a T, and it did bounce off. So it's important to pay attention here to these guys is that it is respecting this 8 period moving average on that monthly, right? So if it's definitely bouncing off of it, we want to gauge how far is it going to move next, right? Give me 1 second here. It's going to be here. And let's check out that weekly. So we hit that monthly period moving average. We definitely did see a small sell-off. We'll see what happens if it continues. If it does continue, let's gauge and wait for this to come through, come back down to where previous supply was at, where we might see demand step in, right? So boom, percentage level. So let's go ahead. We can see here at this level that we could see this rally down to here on the weekly chart. And then right here at these levels, and we're sitting right here, guys. So this is an interesting mark here as we're playing this, because you can see that it comes back down, hits our area 8, where it's finding support here on that weekly. So I would be mindful of a, why is that like that? Okay, sorry. So you can sit and see that as it continues, we did hit a few weeks ago or a while back ago our area here. We saw it rally up. It's moving off of now a higher time frame SMA. Wasn't even able to come up and touch these areas here. So it's Cosmo potentially could be kind of tapping out right here. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's definitely right at this level here. So maybe potential and to come up to here in our area. So we'll see what happens. If this finishes off green, be looking for this continue up into this level here. If this ends off red or down at these levels down in here, potential to sell off down into our demand here on the weekly. Let's check out that daily candle. Yeah, we're hitting that 200 period moving average here, and it's not being defended, or it's definitely being defended for the sellers, even though the buyers are trying to push it up. It's not continuing. So yeah, be looking for this to at least sell off at least to the $14 mark, if not that $13 mark here. All right, guys. Yeah, there we go. Let's check out the next one after Cosmo. Litecoin. All right, Litecoin is very interesting, right? Like I was looking at this earlier, kind of on my personal time. It's really kind of going sideways here, right? And I thought we were going to see a sell-off here, maybe, but it's not. It's showing strength here. So it's very interesting for me to sit there and see how this is actually progressing. It's a good thing, I think, just primarily because of what it wants to do, right? Like it, like it's holding. So that's what I'm saying. It's that it's holding here. You have that 8 period moving average on that monthly continuing down, right? We have the, and that should not be like that. That should be 4. All right, so I'm gauging these movements. So let's check out that weekly. That weekly's hitting. Real interesting. Real interesting. Yeah, if this, so it's really not. So we have these supplies already hit our supply area and then had a huge sell-off, right? So we definitely are looking to put in a higher low here. Right, boom, higher low. Now it's continuing up, but we did have a good defense on that weekly right here. So it very much is looking really strong. It's actually really strong with an increase in volume. So Litecoin is definitely moving at least up to here, if not higher. We could definitely see this rally, this baby rally to up in this level. We'll see what happens here though. We also have a zone, which is right here on that weekly. This must have been a monthly zone here. A daily zone. Yeah, this was a daily zone as we were looking at right here. So that it hit, then had to sell off. All right, so then this comes through right here. We're hitting some supply zone. Again, we're looking for defense, right, of positions, and it's a defending. It's a defending to the short side or to the upside, right? So we're seeing here that it's finding support right here. We're having ping pong action. The key is right here, seeing it defend off of that weekly 8-period moving average, right, as well as that daily 8-period moving average, right? We are above the simple moving averages, but and our supply and our sellers are not as strong here. So this is a good indicator that it might probably will move up into our upper level right here, which is going to be the 79 area, and that's the period 200 period moving average. Let's go ahead and see here real quick. This here. So we'll see what happens here. We have a few major moving averages sitting right here. We are putting in higher highs, or excuse me, we're putting in higher highs right here. Put in a lower low right here, but not in conjunction with this. I thought we were at least going to come down and test this, but we did not. So we continued up here. So yeah, this is looking pretty strong here, guys. I mean, pretty strong when I'm looking at this from a, yeah, pretty much. So we might see Litecoin come back and push through this area, and come back up and touch this 89 or the 79, 79, 78 mark area here. And the first junctional point that we could see is when it comes back down into our area here. So yeah, that 85, 78, that'd be a nice little rally. We could see it move up. Let's check out to see if any supply sitting there on the weekly. We have supply sitting right here. So it's a pretty good area here. So I'll have to go through and check this out later. And then we have that monthly area here. So shoot, it's a monthly and a weekly. So you can see here and see this, guys. This is pretty heavy. And you realize how heavy that was. as much. It looks like a pretty strong area here. This monthly zone. Yeah, pretty strong. So I'm going to gauge that probably stopping point here will probably be that 70 to 68 cent or the 68 to $70 mark. And then we'll see if it's able to continue here. But the first real test will be this level to see if it's able to continue past this. If it does not continue past this, then we're definitely not getting to that 78. So be looking to gauge if you're going to be trading this. Make sure that if you come back into this area of 70 or to the 68, 70 mark, yeah, be ready to get out. Definitely be looking to get out. So and this one right here is a weak area here. I was looking through. So alrighty. So that's it for Litecoin. I forgot what it was. Let's check out near. I know that near. N-E-A-R. Instant tether. Let's play this here. N-E-A-R. Pardon me about to sneeze here in a second, so I'm going to have to go here on the mic. This way here. I think I looked at this on CoinMarketCap originally, so let me go ahead and pull these guys up here real quick. Alrighty, so we can see here that we're hitting these levels, dynamic levels here. Come on. There we are. All right. Actually, we're not hitting them. But they're here. Let's check out that weekly. Oh. An 8-period moving average is sitting nice. All right, so these are pretty, this is a good, actually it's above that 20 period moving average and it's finding support here. So it's looking like it's rallying off of this, which is pretty good. I was looking at that monthly, but I was sitting there saying that they had a huge sell-off here. So it's definitely selling off of these, it's definitely buying off of these sellers in this area. So I definitely do see it's coming up to these levels here. 1 second, man, 3 hours. Yes, that is a great thing. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. I probably should be. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and look at this here real quick. So looking at this is really important, right, on that monthly, because even though we're selling off on, or we had a sell off last month, we are pushing up at these levels. So for me, as I'm looking at this, I would gauge, man, that I would literally see us, we could very much come up and tap this area. Let's check out that weekly level here. So here is, yeah, so there's really just this spot right here at these levels. 1, 2, 3, and 2. Yeah, this the real only area here on near is literally right here. So if you're looking to short this, this would be your only real area of support or resistance, right here in this level. So be right here and or right at these areas here. Yeah, just right, honestly, just more or less right there is where I'm looking to gauge. Right at these levels here. Plus you have that 100 period moving average on near. So if you're looking to go long, I would encourage, I can see you going long at these levels right here on the weekly. And then on that daily, you really don't have anything stopping you until these levels here. So yeah, we could, and we are seeing higher highs or lower highs, right? Boom, a drop, and then we had a lower low, right? Lower low, but then a higher low, and then a higher high, and now, or excuse me, a higher high, then a higher low, and now continue higher high. So yeah, and you are seeing good defense on those green candles. So I definitely am seeing stronger buyers stepping into a higher level, at least up into the 580 or $5.80, 84 cents, looking nice on near. This would be a good little day trade, at least up to these levels here. And then from there, be paying attention to that chart, just simply because we can see it turn around at these levels. So next, let's pull out here the next one from near. We're going to hit link. Let's check out. And I think I'm spending extra time here, guys, because last week I wasn't here. I almost feel guilty that I left you guys hanging, but I had to go to Florida. I had to make things happen and see what happened. So so I want to spend some extra time with the community here and kind of give you guys a quick little kind of overview of whatever I'm looking at, just because, I want to make sure that you guys are good. Here we go. The next level is, give me 1 second. Link. We're going to check out link here real quick. All right, so let's check out what it did for us. So we did see it come back, touch our levels here, put in, I think I even said we're probably going to pass through this level here and then probably tap out. So meaning we went through, I think we came and we sold off last week. And then when I was here, I told you guys that probably the south would probably come down to here. I honestly thought that we were going to come down into this area here. We did not. We rallied up. Now we're seeing it again, not showing a lot of, there's not a lot of, again, a lot of strength when it comes to these buyer wicks here, right? We want to see major, but at least come down to this level here. If not, continue down to these 49 mark area, the 47 mark area here, and continue, if not further, down into our levels here. So if not, and we see this come down, look for support to step in around this 8-period moving average. And I believe this is a weekly moving average also sitting right here. Yeah. So these areas here, you can come back down, test that 8-weekly period moving average, and can see it continuing up, moving up there. So be mindful of that, guys. And again, like I said, I can see us hitting this area here and then pushing up into the higher levels here on that $70 mark. But you could capture that long here if we do continue and find support on that 8-period daily as well as the weekly period moving average there. So yeah, that'll be a nice little trade for you guys. Continue it. Next one, let's go ahead and get into FTT. Let's see if FTT was added. Oh. FTT, FL. Alrighty. All right, so here we go. Let's go into the monthly chart here real quick. Put these babies in. And then the weekly. Alrighty. So we're definitely playing off of these levels here, guys. You can see. 1, 2, 3. Make that into a purple. Oh, give me 1 second. Apologize about that, guys. I am still live. Give me 1 second. All right, guys. So here we are. We're at this junctional point right here, guys. You can see that where the 8 and 20 period moving average are basically they're meeting, right? So I call this a junctional point. And when you see this, a lot of times, price will it'll hit those junction points, and then you'll see it turn around. So making sure that when you're looking at that, you don't want to fight against these things, right? So when to play it is when you basically look to see when it hits it and it starts to follow some type of trending mechanism, whether you use the exponential moving average, whether you're using the simple moving average, whether you're using the VWAP, whether you're using Bollinger Bands, or whatever one you want to use as a trending mechanism. That's what you want to look to gauge. So when you hit those and you start to see it turn around, that's what you're looking to gauge on the continuation of that movement, or not continuation, but reversal of that movement. So for me, I would have definitely been looking to short off of that area here. Once it showed me weakness in this junctional area here, I would have been like, time to go short right here. This would have been my area of going short. Definitely looking short there. So I would have definitely been having fun at that level there to short it here, at least down into that 50 period, if not much further. And you can see here, I definitely am seeing this drop even further down at these levels. So let's check out FTT here on that weekly here. One last little bit. We got the 100. I'm going to do the 89. All right, so this is something we'll be paying attention to. So from a volume standpoint, you can see here that we've had higher volume amounts of selling pressure, whereas here the buyers are definitely, like we even have, so part of this you want to engage that you had a sell off, you have the sellers, right? And then you see the push up, right? So we want to look at that daily throughout the week and see, did the seller pressure be more than the buying pressure? No, it did not. So we definitely saw a push up throughout this week. So be looking for a, maybe a continuation down just because of what I see here on that weekly chart. It's hitting a junctional point here where we sit there, and we can point this out as well. The supply area on this weekly area, excuse me, not areas, but area. Yeah, so you can see this, guys. This it hit the junctional point while it's in a supply zone. So yeah, we'll see. It's not going to get through this area easy, especially on this weekly. So I would gauge maybe it come back down to these levels here, down to 25. So you can take that 28 to 25 area. Yep. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry. I don't mean to be weird. So yeah, this I would definitely be playing this maybe short if it continues down. First junctional point would be the 8-period moving average on that daily for your first target. Actually, first target would probably be in this level here. You want to play it off the smaller time frames, right? But my first real target would be down in this level of 27. Second target would be the 26.8 mark, so it'd be the 27.02 or 27.20. Second part would be 26.90. And then down into this level of 25.70 would be my Hail Mary. And then see if you can capture in the end zone there. And then be ready for maybe a turnaround or some type of inflection movement. Next, give me 1 second. Boom. Pardon me, guys. That's FTC. Let's check out Crow. There we go. Come on. Where is that city? Come on, baby. I apologize. My brain is going on almost 4 hours here, guys, and I apologize. I know it's probably killing you, or 3 hours here, so it's probably killing you guys. You're like, this guy won't stop. He's an animal. Nah, I just love this. I love the charts, man. I love them. I love them like a redheaded step. No, that's the wrong way. You don't. I love them like a fat kid loves candy. Well, I guess that's not politically correct to say anymore. Shoot. What can you say, like, where you love something? Man, I think about like the politically correct things to say, and I'm definitely not politically correct. Probably shouldn't be doing this whole entire public thing. But I do love people immensely, and I super care about people. So, and I'm a fat kid too, so I mean, man boobs and everything. You know, they don't. I guess they're called moops. My friend was telling me. He was cracking up. I was taught when I was in Florida. I actually called him up, and he was like, I had my shirt off, and I was talking to him. He's like, man, he started laughing at me, making some comments towards me, and I started cracking up. And I go, man, listen, I don't care, man. I'm all about good self-body image, and I love myself, and shoot, just love life and enjoy it, right? And I feel like you'll find somebody who loves that, and they'll love you for it, right? So that's how I look at it. But as you guys can see here, boom. Alrighty. So the weekly area here is we definitely bounced off of crows, off of this area here that I put in there. And I've had this level here a few times. I really thought it was going to sell off this area and come back down to these lower levels. but it held really strong, and the defense was really strong here. So it's going to be interesting to see this week. Is it going to continue down? It did push up a little bit for this morning, right? We saw this push up, and now it's pushing down. So it'll be really interesting to see, are we going to continue? Now to hold, I don't see a lot of seller wicks here though, right? At these levels, on those daily, right? But the weekly, we have a strong wick. So this is, this is something that we'll have to gauge and see. I preferably will go off of this daily zone here, or these daily candles, because I think it's ready to, it really pushed hard through our zone here, and coming down to this 10-cent mark area is more concerning for me than or is more than the upside here, just because we do have so many, we have 50 period, we have the 100 period moving average, then on top we have the 8 period moving average on that weekly, and then we have the 20 period moving average. So it's not like we've gone through any major moving averages, as well as any real supply, right? Like we've tested this supply here, but this weekly supply here is, it's like it hasn't touched it. So for me, I'm definitely more bearish on Crow, meaning I like Crow, and I'm going to be getting into Crow personally at the lower levels, because I think it is a dynamite coin. I think they're doing a lot of great things. So for me personally, I do like them. I'm a buy and hold guy in this aspect, just because I think, these levels within crypto are so low that, I don't think you can go wrong. But that's what I do. Oh, snap. I just realized something. I'm supposed to put a disclaimer. Oh. Whew. How about that one, right? That's a doozy. All right. So let's go ahead and add this in here real quick. All righty. Come on. Here we are. Yeah, here we are. Here we are. Okay, so we can sit and see that we hit that 8 period moving average on the weekly, and we did see it sell off here, so mindful of that. But really what I'm looking at is that daily, right? Like, did we see some major seller selling, right? Or did we see any major buying? And I don't think we really saw it. I gotta see. So we do see a bunch of buyers on this daily. So yeah, okay. So we're showing more strength when it comes to volume, but I don't see any position where it actually goes through and defends it. So we'll see what happens here. If it can, I think it'll come back down here just personally, because I don't see any real defense of the shorts. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, but I'm definitely, I would say I'm watching it fall on this weekly 8 period moving average, or not, excuse me, not 8, but the 20 daily moving average. It is finding support with not a lot of buyers, or with not a lot of shorters stepping in here. So I could see it ping-ponging off of this 89 to 20 period moving average. We'll see if that 50 turns around quicker here. So we're going to see if this holds. If not, then look to see engage this 100 period moving average as it comes back down. So that 100 period moving average in conjunction with the 8 period moving average is something to be paying attention to. If this does continue up, be paying attention for that 13-cent mark area here. 13.12 cent, or that 13-cent mark, 13.12, because this is So it's going to be a substantial area. Plus, we're in the supply zone for the previous week. So they could be looking to push it up into this level to take it down back into the 11, if not lower, at the 10-cent mark. Alrighty, next. After Crow, we are going to be doing XMR. All right, there we are. XMR, it is finding support. Monero, this deals with a lot of cryptic things. So if you want to go through and actually find a real coin that's really kind of stable, but in addition to that, they also do a lot of like fundamental stuff when it comes to really making sure that, you know, when you buy and sell them, that you can't be seen on the blockchain. So those people who are trying to really do a lot of work in security, that, you know, for blockchain, these guys are doing a lot of work there. So that's where they're real. I actually went and looked at them up and was checking some of their stuff out. It's pretty interesting, some of the stuff that they're doing. Let's check it out here real quick on the monthly here. So that monthly definitely hit that 8-period moving average, sold off. We're finding a little support here on the demand area here. So we definitely push it up here on the week, on the monthly. That weekly area here, let's go to put some, we have the 200, we have the 100, we have the 50 sitting here. Let's go ahead and let's put that 8. Let's do the 8 sitting right here. Let's make sure that I'm not moving the monthly up. Let's go ahead and move this off here. Delete that. And then that. So this was similar to kind of Crow, that aspect where it's kind of above here. No, not Crow. I forget what coin it was. Forgive me. But it is XMR. Let's check out XMR real quick. All right, so you can see here that we are basically engaged around that 50 and that 200-period moving average sitting right here. We are trending down. We are also trending down, but we are finding support off of this junctional point. So something to be paying attention to right here, just because we do have the 8 now above that 20, and we are finding that support. So the next real supply area would be right here. With the I believe that is the monthly period moving average. Actually, it's right above right here. So we did hit it last time, and it did respond to it really well where we had that major sell-off. So we'll see if it continues. Typically, if something at this nature here, it would typically rally through. So, but we do have a zone sitting right here, which is sellers. So did it put in? It did not put in a lower low here. So I do see this potentially moving up at these levels here, even through here. So be mindful of this, guys, right in this level here, just because we could see this push through and then turn around and come back down and stopping everybody else out at these levels here. And then, actually, I'm going to push this right here. I could see it coming through this 174 to the 166 mark, stopping everybody else out, coming back down, finding support at these levels here, and then pushing it back up even further. So if you're going to look to capture the push out of that range, do not, because there are a few major moving averages sitting there that you don't want to have to fight with, right? So that's really important. Like the 200-period moving average, as well as the 8 moving average sitting here on that monthly chart. All right, guys, you can see here we do have some good defense in regards to the moving averages. Oh, come on. No, did not. This doesn't work. There we go. So not much, but it is coming through and pushing up, where we are seeing increase in volume on the buyer side, and it is finding support on the 8-period moving average on that daily. So that's a good sign. It's a real good sign of Monero pushing up at least to this area on a short term. So you're looking to take this long on, let's say, the futures on PancakeSwap. You could actually capture this at least up to here into this level here, and then see if you can capture a short if it starts to show weakness. All right, next, here we are. Lunic. I think we went over Luna, but I'll do a quick little recap for those who caught on to this later. Luna here, like I said, we are having some major sell-offs. It all depends on the community. This coin should have been dead a long time ago, and it is purely by community love's sake that this is rallying and doing what it is doing. So mindful here, it is coming down to the period 200 period moving average. We have that weekly 8 right here. Let's put this in here real quick. And then we also have, where's that 20? So 20 up here. We might not be at 20. No, we are. Real quick. If I can't find it from here, it's definitely. Yeah, guys, so like I said earlier, it all depends. We are sitting at some levels here that potentially we could see it rally, right, on that 8-period moving average. There aren't really any major defense, right, as you can see here on the weekly. That weekly just shot up, again, shot up. So I'm more apt to buy, if I'm going to buy Luna down at these levels here, because the defense on the weekly wasn't really strong. I don't really see much. On the daily, the same idea, as you can sit there and see. But again, if it rallies hard, it's going to really rally. So this is how it rolls with Luna. It's all pure community. Check out Algo. All right, Algorand here. Let's check out that monthly here real quick. All right, right here we have moving. Here we are. Let's check on the weekly. All right, so the weekly here, the weekly chart, pretty simple. Defense, it did not put in a lower high, or it did put in a lower or a higher low. So it did rally up from here. Pretty good defense in this area. And some pretty good volume stepping in to push it. So if they're pushing it down here first to rally it back up into the 36.47 mark, that's something paying attention to. It does have a clean shot there. So as I look here on the daily, yeah, it's a clean shot up to this 36-cent mark. So pay attention to that, guys, because that is free money. So we'll see what happens. It's sitting at that 200 period moving average though, but we did pierce it. So this is a second time of testing this, and we do have the 8-period moving average. If this does not push up, okay, you want to see it come back down to these levels here. On that daily chart there. Right? So first junction, if you're going to continue this short, if it continues down, then you want to be looking at the 31.13 as kind of your first target. Second target at that 20 area on the daily, looking at the 30-cent mark and that 29-cent mark. It could come back down into this area. If it continues down, then this baby should come down, continue following down. I don't see, it's because of certain aspects of this setup here, I don't see the lower part here holding, but coming down to the 23 mark area, down from the 23 mark to the 17 mark area here. So that's just something that you guys need to be mindful of. We are hitting higher time frame estimates. If this does continue up, okay, if this does continue up, be looking for the short up in this area here. All right, guys, let's check out VET. Come on, where you at, man? So we have that 8 on the monthly right here. And we have that. Sitting here. Let's check out that weekly. Real quick monthly volume. Gauge where it's sitting. So we're definitely we'll see what happens here. This short position here, these shorts here, did not have a lot of shorting power here, even though we have a big defense here at this level. I do see it's coming back down to at least this area here if this does hit the weekly period moving average sitting right here. So let's go ahead with this. Yeah, so it's looking like it very much is looking pretty weak here on the weekly. You can see here that we had a high increase of the the shorts stepping in right here, and it gives indication saying that it wants to go lower here. So, and then a sell off on last week and this week with not a lot of conviction on volume to push it up. So I see us definitely seeing this move down to a further level here, down maybe even that swamp. I mean, this area here is non-existent. And then we have one big, slip and slide down to these levels here. So we'll see what happens. That is EOS. Actually, let's check out the daily. Apologize. Yeah, it's looking the same way. Yeah, even here you can see how we have a higher amount even from last week of the volume of the short. So stepping down into this level for for VET is definitely, I have a shorting bias just because of what we see in the charts with the volume in conjunction with these levels coming down. Definitely. Let's jump to the next one. EOS. And this is looking pretty strong here. Yeah, we're definitely touching that 8-period moving average on the daily, looking as a sell off. Which one is this weekly? So we'll see what happens. We have that monthly supply zone here. Level sitting right here, coming down, touching the 8-period moving average, and looking to see it sell off. We jump in right here. This is important to look at. You can see that it would yeah, you can definitely see this. Yeah, all right, here we go. So not a lot of conviction here, but we are definitely tapping the 8-period moving average and finding support off of this. Came down to our junctional turning points here. Now we had to see a turnaround to push up. So this is pretty nice that we're looking to see. The biggest key or the biggest takeaway here is that if this pushes up, we want to see this thing come up into our supply zone here on the weekly or on that monthly. So this is where we're looking. In addition to that, we are putting in higher highs and higher lows. So it's finding support on that daily area right here. So for me, definitely seeing this come back up into this area. Only trepidation that I do hold is just the fact is that we do see sellers holding position here. So this is where we need to be cautious. If it continues up, right, see if we can capture that $2 mark from the 175 area here, or the 176 area here. If this continues down, be ready for this to come down to that 50-period moving average, which is sitting at about the 138 mark. If this thing does continue, then we're definitely going to see some cool things. So I really like that area there. I like it a lot if this does continue down to see this area right here, that 140 mark. This would be a nice little area here. But again, we're at a junctional turn point. So is this going to find support here and push us up? I do not know. We'll see what the market decides it wants to do. But I think it will push down into these levels of that 143 mark. But we'll see. Next one, let's get to 8. I thought I had, oh, yep. No, not APT. Where's APT? Let's try this again. Excuse me. Other. There it is. AP. Here we are. I don't think it even has the 8-period moving average on the system. Yeah, it's still brand new. All right, so on the weekly, we're showing there's a lot of volume traded in this coin, a lot of volume. So let's go ahead. about here. So you can see, so guys, you can see this here real quick, right? That this 20 period is definitely the one in control, right? Like it tried to come up here and push it. The short-term play here is definitely capturing this down. Now, the thing that I want to highlight, though, is that we did not see much of a wick to come and touch this area here on this week, right? So this right here for me is showing a little bit bullish, and just the fact that it's going down. We did bounce off of the 8 here, and it is continuing up. We are about to have a cross here, so seeing this cross with no wick shows it is making me believe more bullish. Only issue is we have the 20 period moving average as well as the 8 period moving average. So this is kind of a hit and miss, right? Like I can't really gauge to see which direction it's going to go. We saw an increase in volume last week with it defending a sell-off, right? So there are definitely buyers sitting here. The issue then now is that we don't have any real seller or buyer stepping in, putting in real wicks on the daily. So this is always a little hit and miss again. But again, I'm more because it's such a large coin that I'm apt to go long here as it comes down and tests these lower levels here, just simply because of the volume that is traded within this coin. So, and I look at that, it's, like 5 million, 6 million, 9 million dollars worth being traded, or volume being traded there. So that's, it's a lot of money, not million, but like tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, 50 million, $100 million worth of volume being traded. So we'll definitely see what happens here. I think institutions are definitely involved in this one and looking to gauge which direction it's going to go. I just know that we are having these higher time frame SMAs. It is bouncing off of these, bouncing off the 50 period moving average, and looking to sell off. Like I said, does not have any real seller wicks stepping in. So very much could be looking just to fake out and push through these higher time frame SMAs. But I want to point out that weekly 20 period moving average, we're in this little area here. So like I said, I don't know exactly what we're going to do there. Let's go to mana. I personally, because it is at these levels, I would gauge to play off a demand or supply zone to gauge which movement it's going to play versus trying to gauge off the moving average. So wait till the play hits the areas here. Boom. Shoot, I should have played that right there. All right. Here we are. This was last week, though, so we had a sell off and then a push up. Let's go ahead and see if it will continue down. At least down to this level here. Yeah, right in this area here. You can see a sell off right into this level here. Let's go ahead now and check out. Oh, hello, could you please tell? All right, so somebody wants to know about something real quick. I'll hit that up in the next show. I'm almost pooped out here, so let's go into mana here real quick. Mana. All right, so mana is similar. It's very similar, but looking weaker though than what we saw with sand. Or excuse me, where was that? Excuse me, ape. So actually, no, it's nothing like that. What is up with me? That's funny. Okay. All right, next we can sit here and see. Let's check out our monthly. was that 20? We're about to hit that 20 moving average right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, two more months. And I gauge that 20 is probably sitting about right here by the time that hits. But this stuff's going to be coming down to here. So it'll be real interesting to see what happens at these levels. Here we are. Boom. Alrighty, guys. So here's the 50 period moving average. We're also sitting at these levels right here. That 160, 152 area. So this is the playground that we're playing right here. So yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. It's playing short, so I would definitely look to go short here, right here, just because it's definitely not showing major strength. Right, you can see here that even though this went up, right, you saw volume, there's no defense again at these levels. So I do see this continuing down. I would have loved to see this put in and close above these highs, but it didn't close above these highs. So now you have shorts stepping in and looking to gauge. We'll see what happens here. I think we're going to come back down to this area here first, test this area so you can capture a short-term trade right here on that weekly. All right, so you can definitely see this right here, guys. No buyers, or excuse me, no real buyers. You have buyers sitting right here, but we saw a push up. It had no conviction to close above the previous highs. So then we're seeing it come back down to at least the higher low area. If not further, it's going to come back down to these levels here. Yeah, legit. This is real right here. At least this level here. But let me see here. Oh yeah, it's already been traded. I forgot. I already checked this out. So yeah, down here at these levels at the 51 cent mark area here for mana. If not, and it finds support here, the next level is sitting at these levels of the 88 cent mark. Because it's already tapped this area here. So we can definitely see it, then turn around, find support here. It all depends on how it's going to finish off the day here. If we see, let's see. Let's check this out here real quick. Is this finding support? No, it is not. It is not finding support. So this one more time. Yeah, I see more sellers stepping in than buyers here on that 2-hour mark here, 1-hour mark here. So yeah, I definitely don't see this boding too well for mana here. I can see it's coming back down to these levels, at least to the 76 mark, if not further down to the 72. And if not further, definitely. We are starting to see a turnaround in the market here off the SMAs and holding, pretty much holding here, but you have the moving averages stepping in. So we'll see what happens as we continue on mana. Check out. Yeah, here we are. Definitely in the 50 period moving average here. Then we're definitely showing weakness. No real conviction on any of the candles here. Definitely do see us pushing down once it taps that 50 period on that 5 and 15. Interesting. All right. And then one last one. Let's check out Sands, and we will call it for a day until we do tomorrow. Sands, here we go. All right, guys, check this out right here. We have very interesting here. So it's definitely showing weakness, but it did touch our area here, where it did bounce from last week. It sold off into our area. So we were able to capture part of that trade. Congratulations. And then it looks like it rallied up here. Let's check out the C gauge. Come on. Where'd it go? What is up with this? All right. For whatever reason, it is not working. Come on. Let's see. All right, whatever reason, it does not want to do what it should be doing. Give me 1 second and rerun that. Definitely my bad volume. All right, here we are. So you can see here that it is definitely looking stronger from here on the weekly from last week. But on the daily here, even just the first couple days, you have more of a we'll see what happens. We are bouncing there. I don't see any major conviction here, but we do see, like, again, on a lot of those charts here, that this candle here doesn't have, even though it's a ton of buyers here, it's not much. And then you have the big wick sitting at this level on that daily. So my gauge is honestly is going to turn around here and go down. So we'll find out what happens here. So that's it. And let me go ahead. 1 second. I think this is really interesting, though, with Sands. I mean, just these levels are really good levels to really kind of, I definitely want to buy in at lower levels, though, this 24-cent mark, because after this mark here, if this does not continue up, the next junctional point is that 24, or the next demand area is that 24. And I think what's interesting is it did put in, did it close above the high? Yeah, it closed above the high there. So, or is it right at? No, it did not. It did not close above the previous highs. Closed above this one, but not this one. So it would have been nice if this would have shown more conviction on it closing above, but it did not. So we'll see what happens. It is finding some type of support here. I would gauge It finds support here on the 8-period moving average. You want to rally. You want to catch this up to the 108 area, to the 113. You can see here there isn't anything else beside. My bad. There is. There is that weekly. Let's move. Let's move this down here. So here's the monthly, here's the weekly. So yeah, be mindful of these areas here, of that 110 area. You also have a daily zone sitting right there as well. So yeah. Capturing this area right here, if it does continue up, be looking for junctional points, turnarounds right here. So if you're capturing this long and it decides to move up, make sure that you're looking to be scaling out at these levels, at the 108, the 111, the 114, and then up in these levels here. But that's still another 10-cent rally you could capture it if it decides to continue up. If it does continue down, as we're seeing right here, then the next level is at least that 104, excuse me, the 90 area. And then here to these levels. So little areas to pay attention to. All right, guys, that's it in a nutshell. I know it was a long trail today. I apologize for how long it was, but I wanted to really spend some time with you guys, go over the charts, kind of go over the top 20 cryptocurrencies and kind of gauge what's happening in the market and kind of looking at the overall view of it. I know we've talked about today gold, we talked about the dollar, we talked a little bit about a couple other commodities. And so regarding the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, probably go a little bit on crude oil on Tuesday, because they do have the Wednesday report to kind of go over, gauge what's happening in the market. But thank you so much for coming in today. Please like, subscribe, tell people about us, put us, if you don't mind, put me up on your social media platforms and let people know about me. All right, guys, many blessings. And the reason why is it helps with Moonrock and getting Moonrock's name out. All right, many blessings, guys, and have a great day. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Many blessings. Bye.